What's up, everyone? Welcome to another Four Guys with Quarters interview. We have a very, very, very special guest. But before I introduce him, I'm just going to announce that Dreadpool is on the panel with us. Um, so what's up, Dreadpool?
Not much. How's it going? I'm just doing a back-to-back podcast, right? We're just having fun and enjoying the time and really appreciate Tommy's time to hang out with us.
Absolutely. And Tommy, what's going on, man?
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. I usually don't do these things in the morning, but you guys are on the East Coast, and I mean it's morning to me. It's 9 in the morning. But yeah, it's cool to do something a little different.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. You're a legend amongst many people, especially in the video game community, and we're all familiar with a lot of the things that you've done and look up to the amazing work that you've produced and continue to produce, and even bringing back the Amico, which is really, really cool to see that kind of passion.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. You know, my background is of Italian descent, and we were just talking before we started, and you're a fellow paisan as well. What do you know? What part of Italy your family's from?
My father's from Mola de Bari, but he was raised in Monopoly, and then the rest of my family was around like is how's it pronounced? The Puglia area, but they started to
Puglia,
settle.
Puglia.
Yep, I can
Yeah.
never pronounce the stuff right, but they settled. They settled in Rome. Some of them.
Okay, so they're from the south, but they went north. My family's 100% south. Yeah, but Puglia, I was there a couple years ago. It's beautiful. It's like it's kind of like the it's almost it's tropical because it's at the very bottom of the boot of the heel of Italy. It's the most southern point, excluding Sicily, of course, but the main island or the main landmass. It's the very end. Yeah, the Puglia region is very. It's known. That's where all the olive oil comes from. In fact, most of it is from that region. But yeah, you got to go. It's beautiful. It's amazing.
The last time I went, I was 3 years old, and
Okay.
unfortunately I'd never been back with my sister.
Bambino. The
Yeah,
Bambino.
yeah, that was when they used to call me Carlino.
All right. There you go.
Little
Yeah.
Carlo. My
Parlo
sister.
l'italiano.
Yep.
Because or just do you just speak Italian, or do you only know the bad words?
I only know the bad words. My father never.
Okay.
He never let me learn the language because what he used to tell us growing up was that English was the hardest language for him to learn, coming from Italy. So he felt that
Yeah.
if he taught us Italian first, we would have a hard time with the English language. But
Fair enough.
my father spoke multiple dialects because he actually
Oh.
understood like pure Latin. So he could
Mm-hmm.
speak into like different dialects, and he said that English was still the
Yeah.
hardest for him to learn.
Oh, I know friends. I have friends in the northern part of Italy that cannot understand people from the south. Like the dialects are that, that different. And yeah, of course, the old Italian language from the 12th century. Like if you ever read like any of like Dante's Inferno, that was written in the 11th 12th century era, and that style Italian was very much heavily influenced by the Latin language at that point. So reading those original things are really cool. And when I know this because when I was writing an Italian opera, I used that 12th century. I used that 12th century dialect because Latin is more of like Italian, like modern Italian is very kind of sing-songy, hey, it's very beautiful, and kind of, bouncy almost. But and the game really wasn't like that. And so it was more, the game was called Advent Rising, and it was more of like dark doom kind of stuff. And so I used the 12th century Italian dialect because Latin is like, oh, fortuna, it's like, it's more like foreboding. and this and that. So yeah, it's interesting. Language is always an interesting thing to me.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how many languages do you know?
Just two. Well, if you want to call street language, I guess we could say that street slang. That would be three. No. Actually, let me preface it like 1.5, because I'm not great at Italian, unless I'm there and you know submerge yourself into it. But I'm not as good as I want to be. But you really do need to be like submersed in it. You have to like focus on it, you know.
Yeah.
So, and I don't focus on it, so I forget most of it, and then I have to go back and relearn it again. So you kind of like when I know I'm going to Italy, I'll kind of get back into it for another month, you know, to go out there. But
I
yeah,
get
so
you.
I'd say 1.5.
I'm kind of like that too. When I go back to Europe, my family decides on how long I've been there by how good and fluent I am when I go back.
Right,
So
there
they're
you
like,
go.
"Oh, you've been here a couple of weeks already, so now you've seen us." If I'm stumbling over my words, they're like, "Okay, you've only been here like less than a week." So yeah,
Right.
I'm the same way, and it's funny how because we're here talking English all the time, interacting, even when we are amongst others that speak the same language, we don't fall back to it to
Yeah.
kind of keep going like that. But
Yeah,
it's nice to
but
know
to
that.
answer your question though, the reason I brought up the Italian thing is that because you probably know this from being Italian yourself and having close ties to the country, the old country. But you know, we're taught at a really young age to be very passionate people, whether it's anything, you know, whether it's music or cooking or, you know, the automobiles we make or whatever, you know, there's a lot of passion in the writing and the music and the people are always, yeah, you know, like people are like, dude, take it down a notch. You know, it's like, you've never been to Italy. Everybody, you think I'm outgoing? No, you don't know outgoing. I'm reserved back there, you know. And so, but that's the thing, that passion that our, you know, that our culture and other cultures are passionate as well, but Italians seem to wear it on their sleeve, if you will, you know. But that's what drives me to do, you know, to do this, and why we're so excited about what we're doing with Amico and Intellivision. And the great thing is though, is that, you know, we have over 60 employees now,
Wow.
and we have offices all over the world. We have an office in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. We have offices, our European headquarters is in Nuremberg, Germany. We have a Salt Lake City office in Utah, which is a lot of our like logistics and legal and accounting and customer service and our test department. And then we have our kind of our creative branch, if you will, and the people creating the hardware and the you know, initial software UI, the UX, all that stuff, and that's in Irvine, California, and that's where the bulk of the people are. But Salt Lake is quickly, as we're ramping up, ready to go. You know, Salt Lake's going to be catching us up soon. But yeah, and every person that we hire has to show that passion, has to show like, you know, we might have like a super genius and somebody who's maybe not as good, but is just so excited about the project and excited about what we're doing and really kind of big personality or whatever. Like those are the folks who normally, you know, would get the job, because, you know, when you walk into Intellivision, and I hope some folks out there can experience this someday for themselves. I know we got a lot of friends here on the chat, by the way. Hello, over 96 people. Or
Wow.
96. See if we can get it to 100. But that when you walk into Intellivision and you just feel this sense of excitement bouncing off the walls. Everybody is there because they love our mission. They love what we're doing. Most of us have been in the industry 20, 30, 40 years. And that's something else that makes a big difference about what we're doing. This entire, you know, console and the concept and the software is done by people who actually make video games and some of the biggest video games ever of all time. You know, we have people who helped to create the PlayStation and cloud gaming. We have people who created the Xbox and the Xbox 360. We have, you know, the marketing people who worked at Nintendo. We have a former president of Nintendo of America for their in-house development team. You know, as he's one of our big advisors, very close with us. But the folks who work there, you know, it's really incredible. Like our VP of production is Jason Enos, who was the product manager and producer of games. You might have heard of them: Metal Gear Solid, Silent Hill, Castlevania. He was the guy who brought Dance Dance Revolution from Japan to the rest of the world. You know, these are the folks. Our VP of Business Development, Phil Adam. He was the guy who got Tetris from Russia out to the world. And again, you know, he was the guy who showed it to Hank Rogers at in 1983 CES. If you watch any Tetris documentary, you'll see Phil Adam. But he was also the guy who did the first deal with Crash Bandicoot, Naughty Dog, and Universal. He was the first guy who did the first deal with BioWare. He was the first guy. He worked on this company, little company, did a deal with called Silicon and Synapse. A lot of folks might not have heard him, but they later changed their name to Blizzard Entertainment. And he was also the VP and at a certain point president of Interplay for many years, like 12, I think he was there 12 or 13 years. And these are the types of folks that we have, you know, all around us building this unique system. And we really don't consider ourselves competing with Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, and now I guess you say Google as well with the Stadia, or Apple with their you know Game Pass stuff. But we're Apple Arcade. You know, we're really trying to bridge a gap between mobile gaming and console/hardcore gaming. Right? There's 200 million hardcore gamers in the world. Those are people that play PC, hardcore PC, you know, master race as we folks call them. There's the hardcore PC gamers, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony. You add up all those hardcore gamers, that's 200 million people. Yet 3 billion people play mobile games every day around the world, right? And so there's a massive, that means, guys, that less than 7% of the people who play video games are playing it in their living room, right? Or playing it on a console. And our focus is, let's bring the family back together and friends. All of our games are couch co-op. Our 4 pillars are simple, affordable, family, entertainment. Right? Those are our 4 pillars, and those spell out the word safe: simple, affordable, family, entertainment. All the games are $9.99 or less. No in-app purchases, no microtransactions, no in-app advertising, no loot boxes. $9.99 or less, and it's yours, right? And our physical media is $20 or less, right? $19.99. And then all of our games, the reason that safe thing comes into play is that all of our games are family friendly. So we don't show violence. We don't show bad language, sexual content, that kind of stuff. Not that I'm against that in any way. I actually like playing Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead 2 or Red Dead Redemption, all those games. It's not that I'm against it at all. It's just that what we're creating as a company is something that we want parents to feel safe about. That's why we don't have online gaming as well. Our console, Amico, focuses around people in the same room playing together, because, you know, some of the online stuff, it is toxic. You know, it's a toxic environment for young kids, for women, you know, even persons of color. There was a thing that came out on Good Morning America yesterday where they found that, you know, kind of the toxic nature sometimes of online gaming, unfortunately. And so we don't even have that as well. So this is a machine that parents can trust, that they don't have to worry about setting parental controls. They don't have to worry about what their kids could or can't download. They don't have to worry about a toxic environment. They don't have to worry about their kids racking up an $800 bill because they were buying skins and DLC, right? And so simple, easy, affordable. That's our goal, and that's our mission. And keep it simple, no matter what your skill level is. Similar to like what the Wii was, right? The Wii was 15 years ago, though. 15 years ago. And our system comes with 2 controllers, which is, and they're really cool controllers. They have a color touchscreen, LED. So they,
that's awesome.
Yeah, they light up. The buttons light up. The disc lights up. It has a gyroscope and an accelerometer. You can see the ball moving around the screen there. Oh, sorry, ball there moving around the screen. So gyroscope, accelerometer, force feedback, speaker, microphone, right? Like I said, the analog disc, and the disc is color capacitive touchscreen. So the same type of touchscreen that's on your phone, very high quality. And here's the thing. Most cell phones, as you know, use like glass or Gorilla Glass or, for the thing. What happens when you drop your phone? Thing breaks, it cracks, right? We can't have that with our controller. We spent the extra money, and this is a polycarbonate, right? So it doesn't scratch like plastic, but it's super solid and won't break as well, right? Now you get 2 of these. You get to look at the disc here. Let me focus it. So it's 64 positions. So most D-pads are 8 positions, up, down, left, right, and the diagonals. But with this, you get 64 different positions, which comes in really cool. Like when you're like, if you're a fish swimming around or a dolphin swimming around or to get that, or if you're a skier and you're, going like this, and it's really a different experience. And this spins around, as you can see too. And it's really a different experience because like, even with an analog stick, as you know, analog sticks are always pulling back to center, right? They're springing back to center. So to have something like this, it's really, really, really cool and amazing. But here's the crazy thing. Again, because for us, it's all about value and trust with our consumers. That's what we want. We're not, our bottom line isn't how much profit. That's why we don't have microtransactions and all that stuff. We're more about, providing something great for everyone. And if they like it, then, the success will come later. The financial success will come later. But let's build something really cool and unique and pass all of the savings onto the folks. So in that regards, we also have an app. So you can download our free app, and you can download this now. It's called Amiko Club. And you can actually play Amiko Club. You can actually play a first level of one of our games, Moon Patrol, right now on the Amiko Club app. But you download it for free, and you see how it replicates our controller. Because everything that I mentioned that was in here, force feedback, colored touchscreen, speaker, microphone, all that stuff is also in this, right? And so you can download this for free. And are you ready? You can hook up to 8 devices to the system out of the box, no extra charge. Now, we also sell these separately as well. We will be selling these separately and a whole bunch of different colors. There's glacier white and graphite black. Those are our 2 base models. And we have 3 special edition models, which are GTO red, which is the one you can see right there over my shoulder. GTO red. We have a galaxy purple. Where's my galaxy purple? Where is that? This is pay no attention to the to this. This is just this is going to be silver, but this is the Galaxy Purple, and it's like a metallic. And then we also have, of course, for the classic Intellivision folks or retro fans, we have the vintage wood grain and gold. And again, this will be like a metallic gold. It's just a placeholder for now. Yeah, so that's kind of the thing in a nutshell. I probably might have answered 5 of your questions, but I figured let me get all that out of the way. And hello to the chat, 150 people watching. That's awesome. My friends Lance Jennings and Grudge I see in there. There's so many big Intellivision fans I'm seeing already.
Yeah, first off, I want to say that just from what you showed us, it looks amazing. Like the color scheme looks very bright. It looks very exciting. It looks very entertaining. It kind of draws you in almost.
Right.
The first thing I want to do after this podcast is download that app that you mentioned and try it out already.
Play Moon Patrol on it. It's really cool. And in fact, we're doing a Moon Patrol high score contest right now. So when you finish the level, it gives you whatever your score is, and we have like a code. You just take a picture of your screen and email it to us, moonpatrol@intellivisionentertainment.com. And we're giving away, the prize we're giving away is a Moon Patrol marquee from the arcade game in a light box from the original, like looking like the original arcade game. And it's signed by the original producer of Moon Patrol, Scott Samura. I'll sign it as well, but Scott Samura, who is also the former president of Nintendo of America for their internal development team.
That is actually very cool and very impressive that you're doing something like that for the fans of the system. So I want to ask you, I know that you said that it's going to be family friendly entertainment, couch co-op. What kind of games are being developed for the Amico?
That's a great question. So we have 5 different categories of games, and I'll quickly go through them. We have retro reimagined. That means all of your old favorite games from like the 70s and 80s and even into the 90s. And we retro reimagine those. So everything, and we went out and got mostly every license from Pong to Tempest and Missile Command to Burger Time and Moon Patrol and all these great old games. But we say retro reimagine. So we're creating, new graphics. We're not changing the gameplay too much though, right? But they get a new coat of paint, new audio, and we're adding multiplayer. So remember, every single Amico game has a single player and a multiplayer, every single one, because I guarantee if I ask you guys and everybody in the chat what your fondest gaming memories were growing up or recently, I guarantee growing up, I bet your fondest memories were when you were playing a game with somebody else or a group of people in a room together. Like those are the fondest memories that we have, whether it was GoldenEye on the N64, Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo, or whatever, even if it was you and your dad taking turns on Zelda or something. It's like so many of those great memories. And then when the internet kind of crept in to gaming in the late 90s, a lot of that couch co-op kind of went away because multiplayer now meant a kid in a dark room with their headphones on, and so we want to bring that back in a major way. We want all of our games to be focused on that kind of thing. And again, no matter what your skill level, right? I want my mom to be able to beat me. I want my dad to be able to beat me. I want my mom, my wife, whatever, and so that's a 75-year-old grandfather should be able to beat their 21-year-old grandson, or a 5-year-old girl should be able to have the same chances as a 25-year-old hardcore gamer, right? And so we're designing the games like that. So that's retro reimagine. The second category is original IPs. So those are all brand new experiences because all of our games are being designed around this. Most of the games on Intellivision Amico cannot be ported or put on other systems because of the way we're incorporating a color touchscreen. Imagine that, where everybody on the couch has information that might be different from somebody else, right? Or using the lights in order to unlock chests or doors, or give codes and things like that through colors. So many different ways to utilize this. And that's the other thing, is that all of the games on our system are exclusive to our system, at least our versions as well. So for example, what that means, to get a little more specific, exact, I don't want to confuse folks, is that we do have certain ports of games on a small percentage. I think maybe less than 10% of the games that were coming out. By the way, we got 50 games in development right now, and we're going to be launching with 35 games around there. So that's pretty cool. Oh, by the way, you get 6 free games on the console day one. You don't even have to hook it up to the internet. You just get the games right away. Again, we're going old school. We're going back to the way it used to be, where you don't have to get on the internet, right? And so what that means is all games are exclusive. It means that we're not doing any direct ports, right? So many of these systems, they do direct ports, and it's on same game that's on Steam, is on the Switch, it's on the PlayStation 4, and they're all $19.99 or whatever. Remember, all of our games are $9.99 or less. So even though a game, I'll give you an example. We have a game called Rigid Force Redux, but we call ours Rigid Force Redux Enhanced. So this is a game that's available on Switch and Steam and PlayStation 4 and Xbox for $20. Our version is exclusive because we're adding in couch co-op to a 2D awesome shooter that already exists. We're adding in more music, different audio, different, graphics or whatever, right? We're adding to that, but wait, ours is $9.99 or less. So even then you're getting more, but you're paying half the price. And so things like that. So every game on the system is exclusive. And so a lot of our original IPs, though, are based around that. That was the second category. Third category, sports and recreation. So some of the big licenses we have are like Major League Baseball, and don't laugh, but American Cornhole League. Now that's a big deal. If anyone watches ESPN2 on the weekends or whatever, you're going to see like millions of people are watching professional cornhole. And of course, it's a game that people are playing all over the country, especially in the summer times, tailgating, picnics, parties, cookouts, the beach, whatever. You see cornhole everywhere now. It's really exploded. And this is one of our pack-in games. And the reason there's a lanyard on here is because, we use the motion controls. Some people say it's kind of like our Wii bowling. It's like Wii bowling was to the Wii. You push the button and you release it like that. Super duper fun. We have over 100 unlockables, 42 countries around the world that you go to, and different leagues within those. Really, really cool. So things like, not only professional sports like Major League Baseball, and then we got, football, hockey, those kind of things, but also recreational sports like cornhole and skiing and shuffleboard. And hey, Paisan, we got bocce in there. We gotta have some bocce.
We do?
We gotta have some bocce. You kidding me? And pool and darts and things like that. So that's third category, sports and recreation. Fourth category, casual. So board games, card games, dice games, word games, brain games, those kind of types of games as well. And again, what makes them so unique? Remember, we have this controller. So I'll give you an example, a dice game, something as simple as like a Yahtzee or a Farkle or Liar's Dice, where you have the dice here and you shake the controller and you see the dice shaking around. And this is shaking because we got the force feedback, and you're hearing the dice come out of the little speaker like this, and everybody can shake. And then when it's your turn, you throw the dice and you can watch them, and they throw out of here up onto the screen. And just that one little thing is such a huge wow factor for, for like non-gamers, casual gamers, but even gamers. Like it's fun. You don't get tired of doing it. It's really great. And again, one of our pack-in games as well is Farkle, which is a really awesome, simple but really challenging risk reward dice game. It's really cool. So that's another free game you get right in the system, along with cornhole and skiing and our biggest Astro Smash. And we have one we haven't said what it is yet. We're keeping that. And then one of our other popular games, Shark. Those are the 5 of the 6 pack-in games. Fourth category is that was the 4th category. 4th category is board games. And the final category is children and edutainment. So what are some of the licenses we have? Sesame Street, Care Bears. These are Sesame Street's the biggest name in entertainment and learning over the last 50 years, right? There's no bigger children's entertainment learning license in the world. And when you look on the Nintendo Switch, there's not a single Sesame Street game on there, right? And so that's really what we're building. But it's a great question. It's a long answer, but I really wanted to get specific about all that, because I think it's really important.
We have a question in the chat from Michael Ung. I'm sure you've probably been asked this before, but I don't know what the answer is to this. He asked about like NBA Jam, NHL licensing, I guess like sports licensing like that.
Yeah, so we have Major League Baseball. We are talking to the NHL, we're talking to the NBA, we're talking to the PGA. And so we haven't announced anything yet, but rest assured some of those will be coming as well. But even like take football, for example, that's a license where we don't even really feel we need it. I think it's good for like Major League Baseball. PGA is cool because you get to use the courses and things like that. But for something like football, like if you remember like Tecmo Bowl,
yes,
and 10-yard fight. So we have the 10-yard fight license, and we're talking to the Tecmo folks as well about getting Tecmo Bowl. So we're not too worried about the NFL license too much, but yeah, it would be nice to get the NBA and NHL and PGA, and we're talking to those folks as well as many others as well. But we've announced American Cornhole League, the ACL, and and Major League Baseball, which is huge. I mean, that's a AAA sports license. You don't get bigger than that,
I know that you mentioned Moon Patrol, and that's a game that I remember that from the arcades, because my dad used to take me to the arcades a lot. My first memory was I was 3 years old in his pizza place, and he pushed up a wooden chair in front of Pac-Man.
Wait, an Italian owning a pizza place? No,
yeah,
that's very rare.
Yeah, and he had arcade machines there, and Pac-Man was.
That's where you went.
Yes,
they were either in the arcades in the 70s and 80s. And for folks in the chat who are old enough to remember this, I bet you all remember, they were either at the pizza joints, your local pizza joint, or the arcade. Sometimes I would see one or two in like a laundromat, but back in the day, and I'd be interested to hear from the chat if you remember, if you grew up in the late 70s, early 80s, aside from pizza parlors and arcades, where did you guys see, or gals, where do you remember playing arcade games? But go ahead. You remember your dad had a Moon Patrol?
Well, no, he didn't have Moon Patrol. But this is what got me into it all.
Bowling alley, Peter, yeah.
He had Pac-Man. He had the Pac-Man, pushed up a wooden chair, and I was 3 years old, and he picked me up, he gave me a quarter, popped it in, and then he started moving the sticks with me, teaching me how to play. And ever since then, I was hooked on video games. Literally hooked on video games. And going home, we had a ColecoVision, we had the Atari 2600, but we had the Sears knockoff version.
Yeah, well, the Sears in television was really nice because it was like that kind of off white with the brown, and it was really different. I actually like that model. I have them all here, but I like this year's model. It was different.
Yeah, it was definitely different. And
So you had in television growing up then,
yeah, yeah.
and how old are you, if you don't mind my asking?
Um, I was
Late
probably
40s, early 40s, mid 40s?
well, yeah, I'm 41 now. Yeah, 41 now.
Okay, early 40s. Yeah, wow, that's amazing. That's great. Um, Screw Watermark said yes. Chuck E. Cheese. That's right. Chuck E.
Yeah.
Cheese and Showbiz Pizza Place were the other two big ones. Where my dad, we didn't have a Chuck E. Cheese near me. We had the ripoff, which was Showbiz Pizza Place, and me, my dad, brother, and mom would go there at least once a week in the early '80s. For those of you who don't know this, a little video game industry history. So the person who started Atari was Nolan Bushnell. And when he sold Atari to Warner Brothers in the early 80s, right before the big crash, he was the guy who started Chuck E. Cheese. So
Oh
there you
wow,
go.
I did
Yeah,
not
Yeah.
know that.
yeah. A lot of people don't know that.
When I was
Hey,
in high school, we used to go to the local 7-Eleven and
Seven
play
Elevens had him.
Gauntlet. Yeah, we used to have
Oh
them down here.
wow, huh? Yeah, they didn't have. And where did you grow up? What part of the U.S.? What state?
When I was 13, I moved down to Florida, so I was in Central Florida
Oh, you know what?
from then
That
on.
makes a lot of sense because, like, Florida, because I remember when I was 12, our family went to Disney World for the first time, and there was it was every, like, I remember going into a gas station, in fact, because they want, it was Florida, especially during that time, all of it, even Central Florida and Daytona and Fort Lauderdale, like, it was a haven for spring break, for kids, for families. I always remember Florida, always when you think of Florida in the late 70s, early and late 80s, it was all about, like, just fun. you know and
Yeah,
so that doesn't surprise me that a 7-Eleven would have an arcade
we would
machine.
have that. We would go to the putt courses, and they would have their own little arcade off to the
Yes,
side.
yes,
yeah.
that's right, the miniature golf courses and the batting cages too. Some of the
Yes.
batting cages and even bowling alleys had arcade games back then.
Skating rinks.
Oh yeah, roller skating rinks.
Yeah,
Yeah, everybody had to crush on the girls at the roller skating rink, right? It's like,
yeah.
who you gonna try to ask to skate with when the slow song starts? Brings back memories.
Yeah, and I mean, just from going to the arcades with my dad when I was younger, because my dad was really into video games too.
Yeah, great.
In Brooklyn, he grew up. When he grew up, it was pinball machines. He loved
Yeah,
pinball, and that led him to Pac-Man, to Miss Pac-Man, and he shared that
right.
kind of love with me. And I'll never forget the first time that he brought home the Nintendo Entertainment System for me. He actually, I don't know how, but he got it a little bit early.
Wow.
So I was like one of the first kids to have one.
1985 then. Yeah.
Yep. And I remember he got me the Duck Hunt gun, and I fell in love with video games ever since. So
Did
hearing
you have the
about
Rob the Robot too?
yes, I did. Yep.
Yeah. What's interesting about the pinball, which again, a lot of people may not know the history of pinball. So, so the Gottlieb family I'm very good friends with the grandson, Gottlieb, and he because we worked together on some projects. Because he used to work at Bally Midway, which was down in San Diego, and we worked on the Spy Hunter project together, which was really cool. They like remade Spy Hunter for the PlayStation. Was it 1 or 2? I forget now, um, but anyway, and he has all these great stories of his grandfather, creating the pinball machine. But what a lot of people don't realize, and this maybe says about our Italian heritage, but a lot of Gottlieb and Bally Midway, they were all based out of Chicago, and Chicago was a big, kind of hub for the mafia, back in the days, the Al Capone days and all that stuff. And New York City being the other one. But organized crime actually controlled pinball machines back then because they were illegal. People don't remember this, but like in the 20s and 30s, pinball machines were deemed gambling illegal because you put money in and you could get a chance to win a free game or a free game. So they were so they were considered, especially during like Prohibition era. And then, as you probably know too, the organized crime also controlled like cigarette machines back
Yep.
in the day. So they controlled vending machines, arcade machines. Maybe that's why your dad had some in the pizza shop. There were a lot in the pizza parlors because Italians are, you never know. You should ask is your dad still alive?
Unfortunately, not. He passed away.
Oh, sorry to hear that. But yeah, I wonder if he knew a guy who knew a guy who could get him
Yeah.
a Pac-Man for his pizza joint. You know what I'm saying? He might have known. I don't know.
His one of his good friends owned a warehouse full of arcade machines.
One of his
So
good friends.
good friends owned a whole warehouse
kidding.
of arcade machines. So growing
Yeah,
up,
great.
I got to play a whole bunch of different kinds because they'd rotate them out. You know, like every few
That's
weeks
great.
it was like
Yeah.
TMNT, The Simpsons, things like that. And then one of his, I don't even know how he knew this guy. There was a guy from Massachusetts that came. He was Italian. He came to Pennsylvania.
That's where I come from, Massachusetts. That's where I
Is
was
it?
born and raised. Yeah.
Well, he opened up a place at the time called Sportland, which was a massive. He rented out a whole warehouse, like a huge warehouse, but it was he just filled it up with arcade machines, like all kinds of arcade machines from different eras. And I remember when they first opened, my dad took me there, right, like when they were closing, and a really beautiful girl came up to me and presented me with a bucket full of tokens, $1,000 worth of tokens, and told me to have fun all night long. And
Wow.
I was like, Dad, how did you pull this off? He's like, oh, he's a friend. He's a friend.
Oh my God. That I bet that memory is burned in your brain till the day you die, right? Remember the elation and the endorphin hit that we would get when our parents would, hand us a roll of quarters. And
Yep.
it was just like the greatest moment of your life at that moment. You're like you couldn't imagine anything more great than getting a full roll of quarters and walking into an arcade. Woo!
Oh, so
Man.
exciting. And my dad was a nice.
I was going to say, this is the type of feelings and memories that we want to bring back with Amico. And I feel like that is what's missing in the industry as a whole today. I mean, you talk about like all the super casual games, hyper casual and edutainment stuff, everything's on this now, right? But the problem with this is that it's solitary. And a lot of the console games, they're all solitary, right? People aren't in a room laughing and punching each other in the arm and busting each other's balls or whatever, like that. We're seeing less and less of it, especially now with COVID, even less, right? And so that's the kind of feelings and memories that we want to not only bring back to folks like us, but introduce a whole new generation of people growing up to the things that we loved and we cherished when we were younger.
See, and this is something I can really see being useful at my house because my daughter loves video games just as much as I do. I passed it on to her.
And how
So
old is she?
she's 18.
18. Wow. Okay.
And she loves video games just as much as me. So if let's say that I got the Amico, I'm sure that me and her would play it together.
Right?
So
That's
that's
the idea.
something that's very exciting for me because it would bring, because when your kids get older, they kind of like start doing their own thing and go off their own
That's right.
ways.
And they have different tastes. Like me, my wife loves video games, but we never play a video game together because what she's do, I'm not. She's playing, Pokemon Go or and I'm on like, Formula One racing or whatever, so it's like it's so night and day. And when we try to come together and play. Like, hey, Shannon, hey, let's play. Like I try to get her into like a casual game, like on the Switch, and you say, hey, let's play Overcooked, which is, a nice couch co-op, great, casual game. And she's like, I don't want to. So you want me to play a game where I have to cook and clean? Like, it's like, I don't like to do that in real life. Why do I want to? And even like the timer counting down, like 2 minutes, go, and it's all stress. And like, I just want to relax when I play a video game, So it's like different people have different mindsets, and you start to understand now why mobile gaming, and like a hardcore gamer can make fun of Candy Crush and Angry Birds all day long if they want. But boy, are they really missing out on what appeals to certain people and certain demographics and why. And that's what we've looked at and created Amico. All of the things that I thought were broken in gaming, I wanted to fix. And the output of that is Intellivision Amico.
My daughter is 7 years old, so having the Amico for me, granted, I missed out on Intellivision originally.
Yeah,
friends had it, so I was able to kind of play, but they didn't really walk me through it. And they're like, okay, it's there, we're playing Nintendo. And and it sucks for me because I missed out on that. But this time I've already pre-ordered it. I mean, your enthusiasm and excitement and love for what you're doing with the Amico is infectious. So I've already pre-ordered mine, and
thank you.
That's the plan, is to get my daughter invested into it also. I'm planning on buying.
If anyone's interested in pre-ordering, you can pre-order the Galaxy Purple exclusively on GameStop right now, and that comes with a $25 gift card as well, meaning so when it comes out, you can purchase $25 more of games. And to give you a pricing, so the base models, and again, it's the very first, not the very first, it's the first video game console in 30 years to come with 2 complete controllers in the base unit. The last one was the Super Nintendo. The Super Nintendo came with 2. And people might say, oh, what about the Switch? No, the Switch is 1 controller that you can split into 2 little ones. I'm talking about 2 complete separate controllers. And that tells you a lot about the game industry, right? Like 30 years have passed since a base unit has come with 2 controllers. But so the system comes, the base units are Glacier White and Graphite Black, comes with 2 controllers. And again, these are like $60, $70 alone, just for, like a Switch. Oh gosh, I forgot the name of the Switch controllers. Joy-Cons. The Joy-Cons are $79 if you want to get an extra one, right? And we have way more technology in this than even a Joy-Con. So again, you're getting 2 of these, ability to hook up to 8 other a total of 8 devices hooked up for free. You get 6 complete games. They're not demos. They're not this and that. All games $9.99 or less. And we're selling that for the same exact price as the Nintendo Wii was 15 years ago. And that only came with 1 controller and 1 game. So it's $249 initially. And that's the launch price. Now, I'm hoping, as all game consoles do, we're hoping to get that down to $199, hopefully by the year 2022, right? So we're in, it's launching in April of 2021. So I'm hoping to get that even down, even cheaper to $199. I think that's our magic price point where millions will fly off the shelf. But so it's $249, and COVID had to come into play with that as well too, because we're not like Sony and Microsoft where we can lose money on the hardware and we're buying 10 million at a time, which drops the price of components and memory and everything like that, right? So you can kind of see where it makes sense, with the 2 controllers and everything. So it's a really fair and again, value. That's what we want. For $249, you can play 8-player games. and you get 6 on board, and all the games are $9.99 or less, no microtransactions, no loot boxes. If you wanted to play, let's just say a 4-player game on PlayStation 5, right? Let's say you wanted to play a co-op game, or let's say PlayStation 4. Let's be more fair. PlayStation 4, you know, $300-400, depending on which one you get. And then you have to buy 3 extra controllers, anywhere from $40 to $70 each, depending if you want the real one or a knockoff. And then the games, yeah, and they have $10, $15, $20 games on there, but most PlayStation games are 50, 60 bucks. And so again, for a family of 4 who's just getting into the gaming for the first time, and then how many couch co-op games are available on PlayStation 4? And there are some, but again, take my Overcooked example, like on the Switch. What a hardcore gamer like us, what we consider to be a casual game, like Overcooked, somebody who doesn't play video games or is more of a hyper casual gamer does not consider Overcooked a casual game. That's not a casual game to them, right? So how many hyper casual games are on some of these systems? So that's the thing. Now we also have we have, like I said, the 3 different special editions, and the special editions are more unique, and the way we use them, the finishes are more costly and expensive, and we're doing, limited runs of those. So those are $279 for the limited, the special edition versions. And so, like I said, so the Galaxy Purple's on, but it comes with a $25 gift card on GameStop as well. And they kind of included it in the price, but so they're selling it for $299, even though the manufacturer's suggested real price is $279, but you get a $25 card. So it's like it's $275. So it's actually less than if you were to normally buy it. And we're going to be available at Walmart, Best Buy. These are places we've announced already: Walmart, Best Buy, GameStop, Amazon, of course, in Canada, places like EB Games, all over Europe, in the biggest places from Argos in the UK to Medium Market and Saturn, all across Europe. We have the biggest electronics distributor in Europe, Koch Media, which is distributing for us, and we've a lot more announcements to come as well. But you can also get the vintage wood grain. We have a VIP edition of that, where you get a $25 card and a lenticular Running Man card and some soundtracks, some bonus material. So if you're interested in that, it's fig.co, and you'll see Amico right on the front page there, fig.co. And I just want to also say this: when you order it like direct and on Fig, it's $100 deposit that's 100% refundable at any time. So we wanted to do that for especially like during COVID, right? So if you decide today you want to put on pre-order and your situation changes, or at Christmas or whatever, if it changes next week, you just email us and boom, it goes right back into your PayPal account or credit card, whatever it is. So it's, that's, again, every aspect of what we're doing, because we're not this big corporate conglomerate like a Microsoft or a Sony, or, or like a, $50 billion company like Nintendo, 40 billion, whatever. Because we're a smaller organization, we can do all these kind of fun, cool things like that. And we don't have to, beholden to the stock market or anything like that, or quarterly earnings. Yes, we have investors, and but they understand how we're approaching all this and agree with us that, boy, they're coming at it from a completely different place. And we just, know that so many people are going to be attached to that and find that to be like, wow, they're doing it the right way,
Yeah, I think that's a big deal when it comes to coming up with a new idea, but reinventing a brand. I think you're doing it perfectly well. I think that it's going to be
Thank you.
something that could be in many houses, and it'll work with hardcores and it'll work with casuals, because like you said,
Exactly.
so many people play phone games these days. Like, it's a 3 billion market, right? So my wife,
Yeah,
she's always like on Candy Crush or Evermarch or something,
there you
and
go.
I could give her like the Amico controller, and it's like the size of a
She'd get it.
phone, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I could play this. This isn't complicated." I give her an
And
X.
she'll be able to beat you in certain games.
Yeah,
Like everybody's on a level, just like a board game, right? Like gaming has become so sectionalized and difficult to get into. And like you can't sit your wife down for the first time and say, "Here, honey, here's a PlayStation 4 controller. Let's play Fortnite." Like that's not fun for her, to
mm-mm.
like get completely creamed for like 3 weeks. It's like, gaming has become so specific and so difficult sometimes. What about just creating games where everybody has an equal chance, you know?
Yeah, I think
So
that's where you guys hit it like right on the head. Real quick, Dreadpool, before I get
okay,
to you, I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
man.
All right.
Somebody in the chat had a question. I don't remember who posted it because there's a lot of questions coming in.
Mhm.
Um, One of and I'll introduce this question in a unique way. Actually, I saw you with
Okay.
an amazing Spider-Man guitar on your page, and that guitar looked awesome. By the way, that looked
Yeah, it says
really,
that's a limited edition. They only did 70 of those.
that looks kick-ass. That is
Yeah,
awesome.
it's a Gibson Les Paul special edition, signed by Stan Lee.
Oh wow,
Oh,
Yeah, they
wow,
go for like around $25,000 now.
damn.
Yeah, if you can find one, it's hard to find one. I
Well,
have a Spider-Man room in my house as well.
do you?
Yeah, a whole room. Yeah, I actually have every single Spider-Man comic book ever created, starting with Amazing Fantasy 15, Spider-Man 1, in VF or near mint condition. It's known to be one of the finest Spider-Man comic book collections in the world.
So, are
Yeah.
you a comic fan in general, or is it just like
No.
a super Spider
No.
fan?
Yeah, of course. Yes. No, I'm a comic fan in general. Spider-Man is my jam. I mean, he's my favorite. That comic is my favorite. But I also I'm a Marvel guy mostly. But I also like Top Cow and some of the indie stuff as well too. I never got into DC Comics, but I appreciate Batman and the Superman movies. Like I appreciate that and some of the graphic novels, but I never got into the DC comic books, but I do appreciate and like the characters. Just not as much as Marvel, but yeah, Daredevil, Captain America, even like a lot of the Top Cow stuff, Danger Girl, Aspen, uh those kind of things. I got full runs of all of those as well too, all the Daredevils, all the Captain Americas. I have the number ones of all of the Marvels, again in near mint condition, from Fantastic Four #1, Iron Man #1, Hulk #1, Submariner #1, you name it. I have all the number ones, the significant number ones. And yeah, it was just something that I just was always into as a kid. That was my, that was my well, I'll tell you what my memory of Spider-Man and why I think it made such a big impact on me. So so the Amazing Spider-Man was the first run. He first appeared in Amazing Fantasy 15 in 1962, August, and then a few months later, Stan Lee, created Amazing Spider-Man #1 with Steve Ditko, and then that was in '63. And by the time I was a kid in the mid '70s, Gwen Stacy died in Amazing in the Amazing Spider-Man issue 121, and then it carried over into 122. But it was at the end, the final panel of 121, which was in the which was in the late '60s, early '70s. And so when I was a kid growing up in the mid '70s, they created this thing called Marvel Tales, and Marvel Tales was basically rehashing all of the Amazing Spider-Man stories. So I bought Marvel Tales of issue 121, ASM 121, and no one in my life had passed away yet. I hadn't had a fish or cat or dog that died. My grandparents are still alive. Everyone I knew was alive. And again, when you're like 6 years old, if no one's died and you don't watch those types of movies, because back then, we didn't have access to that stuff. You don't even know that death exists. And when I read that comic book and Gwen Stacy died, to me, I cried. It was the first person. Like, I went to my mom. I'm like, why, what do you mean she died? She's going to be back in the next issue, right? And my mom had to sit me down and explain, like, no, people die and everybody dies, and your mom, me and your dad are going to die someday, and your grandparents and you yourself, and what, and it had such an emotional impact on me, that issue, because Gwen Stacy was my first crush, right? So that was the other thing. I thought she was a real person, and so that I think that's why I have such a big thing for that, a connection to that. But yeah, but I'm a Marvel guy. And in fact, would you like to see, how, of course, in this, COVID world, this zombie apocalypse, everybody has to wear masks now, when you go out. Would you like to see my mask?
Oh, sure.
I mean, if you're going to wear a mask, if they're going to force me to wear a mask, then this is how I roll.
So he's going to be wearing a Dreadpool.
Now, this is a COVID mask.
Oh, that is awesome.
That's this is the way. And by the way, I'll go into grocery stores looking like this. I'll walk into a bank and they give you really, really crazy looks when you walk into a bank looking like this. All of a sudden the security guards are got their hands on their pistols. But anyway, hell, if you're gonna have, if you're gonna wear a mask, you got to do and that's old school Spidey. That's John Romita Senior Spidey from the early '80s. He's my favorite.
Okay. Yeah, I really started understanding the comic artists when I was always in the comics, right? But I never really understood the artists or the writers or acknowledged them until Todd McFarlane did Spider-Man. That's when I started paying attention to like who was drawing what, and then after that, I really appreciated Image. But one of the questions in the chat actually alludes to comic books, Marvel and DC. Will we see any possible licensed games from Marvel and DC on the Amico?
For sure. We're looking at them. We're talking to Disney now, and others. I think for sure eventually it'll be on there. We don't have anything announced right now. One of the things when you're talking to big companies, and by the way, some of the licenses we already have, I mentioned Major League Baseball, I mentioned Sesame Street, but another huge license is actually the biggest license for men around the world is actually Mattel Hot Wheels.
Wow.
That's one of the biggest licenses. And for kids, it's even bigger than some of the Disney stuff. Yeah, it's the biggest toy license for men in the world. I believe that's what Mattel recently told us. But anyway, because how many of us have Hot Wheels on our desk, even when we're like grown men in our 40s and 50s, and I still buy Hot Wheels cars. Do you? I know I do. Come on, I see your pop thing. What are those called? Pop
Funkos.
Funko Pops. Yeah. Pop Funko. Yeah. But anyway, what the hell was I talking about? I just forgot. I
Hot Wheel cars.
Hot Wheels, yes. So we have all these great licenses already, but some of the big licenses, and I totally understand this 100%. They're like, hey, you have zero installed base right now, right? You have literally zero installed base, and you're not the name Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft. So we're gonna wait, and we're gonna see the system come out, see what kind of numbers it does, and if it's going reasonably well, then yes, we'll grant you, you know, the license and we can talk about that. And that's totally fair. That's a totally fair and respectable thing. So there's some of those licenses, you know, like some of the Disney stuff, whether it's Indiana Jones or, well, EA has a lockout on Star Wars, but things like, you know, Disney's Frozen and some of their older things. The one we're going for first though is Tron. And we're talking to them now about Tron. And so that might actually even happen next year. So yeah, we're excited about it, but you know, we do have to prove ourselves. We are, even though the company and the product and the name has been around over 40 years, as a new system and a new platform, you know, we're the noobs, we're the new kids on the block, you know. Fair enough. I like the challenge. I like being the underdog. They don't see it coming.
Yeah, you do have a big name. You got the Evel Knievel license.
Evel Knievel. Thank you. That's another big one. I love Evel Knievel. And again, for folks who aren't old enough to remember, Evel Knievel was the #1 selling toy in the late 70s and early 80s. And that was during a time when Kenner was selling Star Wars and Star Wars first came out. Evel Knievel beat out even the great Star Wars, which I'm sure we all love. And Evel Knievel's huge, and he represented, you know, being a, you know, just represented the you know, David versus Goliath, right? You know, his whole thing was like, you know, no matter who you are or where you came from, you know, if you're willing to try and put it all on the line, you know, you can succeed, right? That was his whole mantra. And I'm friends with his son. His oldest son is Kelly Knievel. He has and his Daredevil son that followed in his footsteps is Robbie Knievel as well. And so we're working with the Knievel family, and we're creating this really amazing, fun. It's one of my favorite games, actually, on the system. And we're adding multiplayer mode. There was a similar type of game that came out on mobile a couple years ago. And the developers of that game, Barnstorm, out of the UK, they were good friends of mine. And so I reached out to him. I'm like, man, I just loved your game. And it had like 4,000 downloads. Like, you know, like it was just because with mobile gaming, the ecosystem, it's so hard to make noise. And you feel bad for these indie developers who pour their life and soul, and they're, you know, either like, you know, 5 people in a dorm room eating peanut butter and jelly for 2 years, saving money so they can do these, or they're, you know, in the basement at home or whatever, like, you know, and they bootstrap everything, or maybe they do a Kickstarter, an Indiegogo. They do these great games and then no one sees them because there's so much junk and garbage. You know, the game industry is all about quantity nowadays, not quality, it seems, right? Did you know last year, there was just a report that came out last month, 2 million video games, not apps, video games came out last year on mobile across iOS and Android. That's 40,000 games a week. Imagine the poor indie developer, not poor meaning wealth, but well, that too, but I mean, meaning like feel sorry for these people who had to spend all that time, and they release their game and they're so proud of it. And then 40,000 other games come out that week. The same thing with Steam, not as bad, but you put out a game on Steam and the what's new list, within 45 minutes, boom, you're off the list. It's like, it's crazy, folks. Even Nintendo Switch. And again, I love Nintendo. I don't want to come across or seem like I'm trying to like crap on Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo when I say all this stuff. I'm not. I'm a huge fan of all those companies for different reasons as well, you know? But man, you go on the eShop, and it's like, what a disaster, right? And people are having to give away their games for free or for 1 penny or whatever it is, 14 cents, in hopes that enough people will buy it so then it gets on the, you know, most bought list or what's hot list so that they can start to charge $20 for what they really want to charge for it or whatever. Like, this is a screwed up system, folks. It's a screwed up system when every single mobile game is now being designed around how can we suck as much money out of you as possible. And if you're rolling a dice and playing a dice game, if you're not paying, you're going to get crappier dice. So that we want you to pay into that, or you're going to get crappier cards because we want you to pay into what we're doing. It's happening. Make no mistake. It's exactly how they think and how it's being done. They literally have designers whose only goal it is to suck as much money. Where is that threshold of pain where we can take something away so that they'll want to continue playing? It's disgusting. It's sick. And what about games? How about you buy a video game and you have all the cars unlocked or the skins unlocked because you had to earn them as you're playing the game, and they were gifts along the way as you unlock different levels? What's this garbage where you pay $60 for a game? Oh, you want 3 more cars? That'll be $30. Thank you. Oh, you want the special limited edition or the special edition of our game? Yeah, that's $100. $100. Guys, I'm not exaggerating. You probably know. Like, what the hell is going on? Or how about the fact that a digital game is the same exact price as a physical version? Excuse me?
Yeah.
What? You know, you buy Zelda on the Switch and Zelda, whether it's digital or physical, it's the same price. But wait a second. You didn't have to manufacture it. You didn't have to distribute it because there's always third parties. You didn't have to send it out and mail it, right? I mean, not mail it, ship it, right? Because they go from one warehouse to the factory's warehouse to a 3PL provider, which is a distributor, and then they get their cut, and then they distribute it to the stores or the store warehouse, and then that warehouse. And so you don't have any of that cost, distributing, manufacturing, you don't have that cost. Oh, and by the way, the stores, you know, are making 40 to 50% more on the markup on those because they don't make a lot on the hardware. This is the secret of the underbelly of the game industry. And so why would it be the same exact cost if you're digital? Because you don't, all you have to do is, okay, you pay pennies for the server, you know, but my gosh, you know. And so this is exactly Intellivision. I'm so tired of all this garbage and where the game industry is headed. So you know what? $9.99 or less, because we're going to pass all the savings on to the folks. And by the way, because our games aren't $300 million, you know, they're not $10 million games. We figure out what the budget is, $200,000. Okay. What's our break-even point? Good. Let's make a little bit of money and pass the savings on to the player. And the same with our physical media. You know what? Yeah, it's twice the price, $19.99 for physical media. How many physical medias can you get for $19.99 out there, right? For brand new games. But that double cost, we're being honest, it's because we have to manufacture something that's going to cost $3-4. Then you have to pay for the shipping and the storage of the warehousing, and then the stores are going to want their 40 to 50% markup. Boom. Something that costs $9.99, you can see how it's instantly $20. We're not making any more money on it, right?
Yeah.
We just want to put it out there and pass the savings on to the folks. So anyway, that's it.
So, unlike next generation, your games are not going up to $70.
Nope,
you heard
zero.
about that, right? You heard about that?
Oh yeah, the next gen games are $70. And by the way, that's for the baseline ones. You mean to tell me they're not going to do special editions and DLCs and all this crap? You watch. You're going to be paying $120 to $150 for games this next generation. I guarantee it.
Well, I'm glad you brought up special edition, right? Because let's go back to your consoles.
Yeah.
I know I've seen you talk about it. There's probably a lot of listeners that don't even understand the amount of work you put into the special edition consoles and the paint that you had to put on there to make them look how they are. Can you re-explain it to
yeah, and Absolutely. And it's not even paint, actually. It's a
Right.
special process that we developed, manufacturing process. By the way, for anyone interested, please, please, please check out after this is over, or you can open another window, but check out our YouTube channel and subscribe to us. Just put in Intellivision. You'll see a blue disc with the white running man, a white running man inside, right? And so do that. Look for the blue icon. And that we have a hardware design video that we just came out with last weekend or 2 weekends ago now. October 10th, it was launched. So yeah, it would have been two. Check out that hardware design video and you'll see why it's the shape it is and how we designed it. And in there, and thanks for bringing this up, we talk about the design process. So I'll have a couple of them. Again, these are, and pay no attention to the stuff on the outside. That's just placeholder plastic, because these are going to be like a metallic gold out, the rim, and this is going to be like a metallic silver. And this is the faceplate. See, I have the bottoms of it, are here. So the console. This is a console shell. It obviously doesn't have any of the stuff, but just to give you an idea of what it looks like all around, the back and everything. And this lights up as well. And the vents are here. So it doesn't have any of the vents, but it's the face plates. But what you'll notice on this, and this is a gloss coat, and this is like a mirror finish on the thing, but this is baked into the plastic. So when the plastic is injecting itself into the molds, these actually get put on the bottom first, and it slams the plastic and then it joins together in the plastic. So this is part of the plastic, but we can get these really amazing finishes. You can't really tell on the webcam, but this is like a really tight metallic purple, and it kind of changes colors, or it gives it a really nice body, in the light and the curves and everything. And so, yeah, so that's a really kind of fun, special process. And then we do the vents. The vent colors will match the colors of the outer and you can see and again, these are just shells, but the controllers are matching, and the disc will be gold, and the buttons are gold and everything. And yeah, it's really cool. And the red one above me there too looks really, really nice. It looks like a sports car. But yeah, we put the extra time and the extra money into making these special editions greater and different and even more. I mean, the white and the black ones are cool to begin with, but we even put even extra love and care. And again, you know what? We pass all the savings on to the folks. Look, it costs us more money to manufacture, but we want to do this because it's cool. And we want this to be, when you have a video game console, it kind of becomes the centerpiece of your entertainment system, right? Entertainment center, like it's in your living room or in your, if you have a man cave or a woman cave or a movie room or whatever, boom, it's right there. It's the thing you walk over to every day and push on. So we want it to look, really nice and unique, and we want people to be able to customize it. And we have a lot of information coming out about that as well. We're customizing your controllers.
Oh, that's new then. I didn't hear about that one.
No, we haven't really announced that. That's an exclusive right here.
Well, thank you for that. Clownz, did you want to finish up, or do you want me to finish the other message?
Who's Crispy Bomb? I noticed Crispy Bomb came in. I haven't heard much from Crispy Bomb. What up?
Well, I was waiting for Clownz to be like, hey, this guy showed up over here.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say something, Crispy, but Crispy Bomb is another member who's on our panel that's been doing interviews with us as well. So Crispy Bomb, this is Tommy.
Do you have any questions, Crispy Bomb?
It's a pleasure to meet you, Tommy. Definitely,
thank you.
I love your enthusiasm and how you get into the community and you really get involved, and you're trying to push a really what I consider an outstanding product. And
I appreciate it.
Actually, just off of what you just said, are you able to turn on the console with the controller?
No, and I'll tell you why. And when I tell you, it'll make sense. So one of the things that we're doing, what's really unique, let me use, actually, I'll use the black one. I haven't shown this one much. And this is this was one of our earlier dev kits. It's actually changed a little bit from here, but so one of the things we have, actually that one even better than that, is we have wireless contact charging. So that means, now, not only do you have wireless contact charging, but it also has a USB-C on here as well. And this is just this isn't a final version. Oh, actually, wait, I do have hold on. I should actually be using this one. This is actually a final dev kit. And so, but again, this isn't painted, this doesn't have the silver metallic on it. But you can see these are the final, plastics and, injected molded plastics and all that. And so what happens is when you put it into the base, boom, it automatically starts charging. And it's cool because there's LED lights. We have over we have 64 LED lights in the console, 12 on each controller, and then 40 in the console itself. Because there's some in the front and the side and the side. So even like using, and not only does it come into certain gameplay elements or celebrations or things like that, but also even when you put it in, you can tell how much your controller is charged by looking at the disc colors. It goes from red to yellow to green, and you can see how much of it is being charged. And so and the reason I mention USB-C as well is because if you have multiple controllers, you could just plug them in, using a wall. It'll come with a colored cable as well, but it's not a special cable. You don't have to buy an extra cable. You don't have to, all this garbage that all the phone companies and other folks charge you for, right? It's so a lot of people just have this already, but again, you're going to get a cable as well, but you just plug it in USB and you can just plug it into the wall if you want. So if you have multiple controllers, the other cool thing is you'll notice on the back here, so it's very simple. You have the HDMI out, you have the power, you have a USB-C for extensions and different things that we're going to be doing in the future, and a micro SD card right there. So that means that we have 32 gig inside hard drive, solid state hard drive in here, right? And so that you might say, well, that doesn't really sound like much. That actually stores between 40 to 50 of our games on here. Because again, our games aren't Call of Duty. They don't take 50 minutes to download, and you don't have to do, firmware updates every time you turn the machine on, right? So we have that, but you can expand it with just a micro SD, and you can put whatever you want in there. So let's say you want to have 100 games, you pop a 16 gig in there, or a 32 or a 64 gig, and boom, you can have our entire library on there. But you notice how it's not some special stuff that you have to buy and you can only get the hard drive from us, or the no, we're leaving it open, to anyone. So now I've been talking so much, I forgot what your question was. What was your original question?
It was about turning it on with the controller.
Oh yes, thank you. I know I was going somewhere with the controller. So because this is the base, and so we encourage people, to put them boom back in the base to charge. And so when so we don't, I guess the idea is that we don't want controllers to be on the couch. And then, so you have to pick up the controller and then hit the on button in order to turn, to turn the machine on right away. The other important thing to note, though, is that we're using an ARM-based processor. It's a Qualcomm Snapdragon chip, which is very widely known and wildly awesome. And so just like your mobile device, right? When you first turn it on from a cold, they call it a cold boot, right? When you have it onto it and you have a cold boot, it takes like what, 15 to 20 seconds or whatever, right? And once it's on, all you have to do is hit a button and it pops on, right?
Yeah.
And so that's how our system is the same way. The very first time you turn this on, it's going to take 12, 15, 20 seconds, whatever it is. It's like 20 right now, but we're getting that, we're trying to get that down, even less. But that's only one time, the first time you turn it on. After that, like your phone, it either just goes to sleep automatically if you're not playing it, or if you want to just walk over to the button, or if you put the controllers into the console, because we always want to promote that, because isn't it funny? Like we did a lot of things with parents where, we were talking about controllers and they say, and maybe you guys have, you mentioned you had kids, how annoying is it when your PlayStation 4 controller, it runs out of juice or the Xbox controller with the batteries, because you left it on the couch or you left it on the thing. Now imagine a kid is going to learn really quick. If I don't put this back, the next time I want to play, my battery's going to be dead. But how easy is it to just go and place it on top of it? And the other thing too that we're going to encourage is that we actually have, and I can't get too much into detail because I want it to be a surprise when people first turn it on, but we have really fun things that happen when you put the controller back on, something with the screen, and when you take it off as well, when you pick it up for the first time. So turning the console on and off remotely with a button, we don't really do, because we want to promote just putting them back, because when you pick it up, boom, the whole thing just pops on. We want to keep it as easy as possible. So can we do away with having to always turn something on and always having to, put a cord to something, or let's just make it easy and make it automatic. So that's what we're going for. So
That's
there's
awesome.
a method to madness.
Lance Jennings in the chat asked, he said to ask Tommy about birthday and holiday celebrations for Amico.
Yeah. So we have a video that I put out last weekend, or 2 weekends ago now, October. I think that one came out October 11th. And we talked about our holiday and celebrations, what we're doing with that. So, and this comes standard on every console. And what happens is you can launch this, I guess you call it an app because it's not really a game, but you launch this program. I just hate the word app. But you launch the program. We'll go Tron, old school. Greetings programs. So you launch the program and it lists every single holiday in the entire world. Doesn't matter what your culture is, your religion is, the country you're in, whatever, it's going to list them all. And they're all going to be off. And you can decide to turn on whatever you want to turn on. And by the way, you don't have to be of that religion to even, somebody might want to just see a holiday every single day of the year, because there pretty much is one, I think. And so you decide which holidays you want to celebrate. And you can even program them yourself, like for certain, like if you have birthdays in your family, or you want to celebrate an anniversary or your graduation or whatever. So you can actually build your own holidays as well. Very simple to do. And when you turn the console on that day, like let's say Valentine's Day, February 14th, on February, if you checked that box, you turn it on February 14th, and boom, something special is going to happen on that day. Very quick, very, it's not a 30-minute cinematic like, the latest Metal Gear Solid game or whatever. It's it's just, and I love Metal Gear Solid, and Hideo Kojima's a friend, so I can say that. But but the whole concept of celebrating things, right? And learning about that holiday as well too, right? What a cool way to learn about different cultures and different, we're a very inclusive, ecosystem, even to the point of like, me and you are Italian, right?
Yep.
Italian Americans celebrate Columbus Day, not because of the man Columbus, but because for those of you who may not know this, the reason Italians were given that holiday was because in the 1800s, 11 Italian immigrants were massacred, murdered, and hung from the trees, and in recognition of that great atrocity, the president of the United States at the time wanted to celebrate the Italian culture, to give a holiday, just like, Martin Luther King holiday, but when you look at something like St. Patrick's Day, that's to celebrate the Irish and the Irish heritage and the Irish culture. It's not to celebrate St. Patrick's. And in this world we live in now, people get very upset about the term Columbus Day. And I understand, and I get it. And so certain people would like to, call it, or do call it, Indigenous People Day, because of, the atrocities that Columbus did to Native North Americans. Totally get it. So, but again, to kind of, and I don't want to get political, but to wrap it up, what people who aren't Italian Americans don't understand is, to us, that holiday was given to our people because of the same thing that happened to the Indians happened to us as well, and happened to all cultures, the Irish, the Polish. Whenever they first came to America and tried to integrate and assimilate, they were all, it's almost like you have to go through this badge of honor to get, I don't want to call it honor because that's the wrong word to use. It's not honorable at all, but you know what I mean? It's like you almost have to, each thing had to go through that. And so that's our day. And you ask any Italian American and they'll tell you that they don't celebrate Columbus on that day, and it was never for that. Columbus Day parades, Columbus Day, that was to celebrate all of the amazing things that our grandparents and parents had to go through when they came to this country, all of the bad things that happened, but all of the good things that they did and went through, and to celebrate our culture and the food and the celebration, just like St. Patrick's Day is to celebrate the Irish culture. And a lot of people don't understand how hurtful it is to Italian Americans to say, we're getting rid of Columbus Day. Well, wait a second. We put in our thing. So I always say, look, rename the thing. Just rename it. Yeah. Call it Italian Heritage Day, or call it Vespucci Day. You know who found America really? Because Columbus landed in North America, but he never landed in the United States. Never touched foot here. You know who did? Amerigo Vespucci, another Italian. You know why it's called America? After Amerigo Vespucci, after this Italian dude. So call the day Vespucci Day and let's be done with it. But we need to have a day for Indigenous people as well. Agreed. That's the fair thing to do. And it should be a separate day for them to celebrate, because I love the American Indian culture, right? Or I'll say Indigenous because some people don't like that term, but Indigenous people, I love that culture. The beautiful art and the imagery and the and their animals, spirit animals, and so many cool stuff within that culture. Wouldn't it be great to celebrate that culture one day a year as well too? So anyway, but getting back to the Amico celebrations thing, the reason I said all that is because even we always want to be all inclusive, or in other words, we don't want to piss anyone off. And so you go in there, and if you want to check Columbus Day because you're a proud Italian American, or if you want to check Indigenous Peoples Day on that same day, you can do that as well too. So we don't, so we have all that stuff. But the fun thing is, on your birthday, the person who first registers the machine, you put in your birthday, and every year on your birthday, when you turn the machine on, it does a big celebration, and it shows a big cake, and it says, congratulations, or happy birthday, blow out the candles. And you'll see a little candle flickering on here. And remember, we have a speaker and a microphone. And it just sits there. And when you blow out the candle, you'll see it flicker off on the screen, and it flickers off on your main TV screen. And it gives you a free game every year on your birthday.
Oh, wow. That is cool.
These are the kinds of fun things, because I always tell, and by the way, if you want to see a demo of this working, again, go on the Intellivision YouTube page right now, or when this is over, go on the Intellivision page and watch the demo, because we show it in action. We show the controller and the candle lit, and it goes. And my sister, her name was Karen, and she passed away, unfortunately.
I'm sorry.
About 20 years ago. And part of the reason why I wanted to come out with the console on 10/10 was that was her birthday. And so, but because of COVID and everything, it really made that, so we had to delay the console from October 10th to April, 6 months later, because we didn't want to like release it at Christmas with the Xbox and the PlayStation. It's like, everybody's going to be hyped. They're going to suck all the air out of it. So it's like, you know what? When video game systems, when stores don't have anything to sell, is in March and April, right? That's when the Switch came out, in March. It's a very smart time to launch something, because everybody tries to come out with stuff around Christmas and spills into January. So by like April, by early spring, nobody has anything to sell in the video game departments, right? So we're excited about that. And we chose that date with our manufacturers, distributors, but most importantly, our retailers. So we picked the new date in April. But I always tell all the folks who work with me at Intellivision and everything, and we always say the same thing. I say, we're not going to beat Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. We're not going to beat them with infrastructure. We're not going to beat them with marketing dollars. We're not going to beat them with technology. I'm not sitting over here drinking my own Kool-Aid going, oh, we're going to take them out. No. But where we can compete with them and beat them is in ideas. That's something that we can do. And again, just like I just mentioned with that birthday celebration app, right? Or the birthday celebration, that's something that no one really has done, right? I mean, similar things have been done, but something like that is, these are the kinds of fun ideas. No microtransactions. What? No violent games. What? And so even if people might not want an Intellivision Amico, it's not for them. And I would say to them, look, wait till it comes out and play it before you make a decision. But there are, a few certain handful of folks out there who love to hate us, they try to destroy us every time they can. And it's rooted in jealousy, I think, or whatever. But what I would say to folks is, even if you don't like the idea and the concept of it, or you don't like the graphics of our games or whatever, and that's fine. I understand it. I respect it. But at least root for us, it's like, at least, we're the underdog, and if we can, when we successfully pull this off, we'll be a video game company that was started, who didn't start with billions of dollars from Microsoft or billions of dollars from Sony, that does all these things. And even Nintendo, I mean, they were a trading card company for 100 years, playing card company, right? But a $1 billion company. We would pull off what things like Ouya and 3DO weren't able to pull off, right? So hopefully people will at least, we're like Rocky Balboa up in this bitch, and we're going to just keep getting up off the ground. You hit us down, whatever, we're going to just keep getting up and coming at you. So we're not going anywhere, and hopefully people will root for us if nothing else.
You got some other questions in the chat. One was, will the controllers accept USB-C charging?
Say one more time. Are the controllers?
Will they accept USB-C charging?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. 100%. That's what that is right there. Yep. Boom.
Will they
When you buy an extra controller, you get a cable with it as well too.
will they work while charging?
Yep, absolutely. Yep. They charge slower, which is I think with any device, with any device, it's going to charge a little slower when it's being used, because the screen will be on these connect Bluetooth to the system. So you don't have to do anything fancy or anything. It just, boom, it works. But for your mobile devices, those connect Wi-Fi, because we want to, the Bluetooth is the quickest way to go.
Will the physical games come with a digital copy? That's one of the questions.
Yeah, so we haven't announced exactly what our physical media is, but I can kind of hint to it. You'll notice on the console, again, this is very unique. I don't think it's ever been done before, but if you see that logo right there, I don't know if you can see it. Let me get no, it's not showing up. Crap. Maybe it'll show up. Hold on. See if it shows up on the wood grain. Yeah, there it is. It's all muffed because this isn't the final structure of it, but that's the RFID logo there. So what happens is, so check this out. You guys are going to love this. And again, this is the idea thing, right? So first of all, let me talk about the controllers and sharing games. So let's say that I bought like 20 games on my Amico at my house, and I go over your house and I bring my controller. Check this out. I dock my controller on your system, and now we can play all of my games on your system. How cool is that, right?
That is awesome.
But with the RFID, that's going to come into play into our physical media. So our physical media can really be anything we want it to be. Similar like an Amiibo or the Skylanders or whatever, but times 10. But also with physical media, what's annoying to me? Here's a PS Vita game, right? And every Switch game is like this, and every and Xbox and PlayStation, they're just old DVD boxes, right, that they've repackaged, and you have the cheap plastic thing here, and it's a thin piece of paper that goes behind the plastic. How annoying is this? I mean, it's like, okay, whatever. But remember the old days growing up, and you had your boxes, and you had like things in it. There was a manual, or there was different things, collectible things. And you see great companies like Limited Run Games, for example, that do all these special editions, and collectors love it. And a lot of gamers, and especially young kids, we're all collectors, and so our physical media collectors are going to love us. I'll just say that. The box, the packaging, everything about it is very unique. But being able to utilize RFID, and the reason why that is, again, I haven't made some really important announcements, but the way that we can play and share games there's a reason for that will make a lot of sense why our physical media. So it's not like your traditional physical media, like a cartridge. There's not a cartridge slot in here, but it's better than that, because of what we're doing and some of the things we haven't announced just yet. Now, people might say, yeah, but Tommy, if you have to you put a game on a system, but like I can't sell it on eBay if I get sick of it, or I can't give it to my friend after. Oh, well, let's just say we got you covered. So I'll just say that. So you can unattach games from system to system and put them back into the physical media if you want. I'll leave it at that without giving away too much. But
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
so it's a really cool, unique, never really been done before type of thing that we're doing.
Yeah, you got my mind going with all that because I'm really into tech. So when it comes to stuff like that, you got me definitely interested in all that, because now it sounds, let's not go there until you actually announce it, but I think I know where you're going with.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, again, RFID, if you're familiar with radio
Yes.
frequency identification and what we're able to do. But again, don't think Skylanders and Amiibo. That's an action figure. We could do it in anything we want.
Right. That's primitive.
And we can package whatever we want into our packages. So again, the outer packaging and everything, there's some special stuff in there.
That's awesome.
Screw Watermarks asks, any partnerships with limited run games?
Wouldn't that be something? Nothing that we've announced yet, but let's say we're very familiar with the folks over there. And so, yeah, so we definitely want to have special editions of, so it's funny because our physical media is already unique, but why not make it even more limited and unique for, with a partner? And so, that's all I'll say about that. Wink, wink.
Well, now that you said you could put your games on your controller and take it to your friend's house. Now, what if my daughter is still at home? Is she going to be able to play those games?
She can't play that game that you're playing at that time. So, so let's say you have 20 games and I come over your house and I say, hey, have you played the new Night Stalker game yet? And you say, no, I don't. Oh, well, check it out. Boom. And now we're playing it on your system. She wouldn't be able to play Night Stalker at that exact same time. But if we stop playing Night Stalker and we start playing something else, then she can play that.
Okay.
So you can't play the same. But by the way, just like you couldn't do that with Call of Duty either, right? If you had a physical version of Call of Duty and you went over your friend's house, right? You wouldn't be able, you know what I mean? Like there's only one physical copy of it, and the controller kind of acts like that physical copy in a way when you're bringing it, when you download it onto your friend's console. And then the second I leave and it gets disconnected from your machine, you'll still see the game there on your hard drive, but you just won't be able to play it. So it's kind of almost like an incentive because, look, if you like the game, and this is the reason we're doing this. See, we're encouraging people to share. What video game company's done that? They're all so afraid that people are going to steal their stuff, right? And again, I understand it. Piracy's massive. It's over 30% of lost profit in the game industry. I get it. But again, that's one of the advantages of having games that are $9.99 or less. You go over your house, hey, dude, you want this game? And it's like $6.99. And you had a lot of fun playing it. And then I leave and boom, now you can no longer play it. But for $6.99, you can light it up again and play. You're going to do it, right? It's like, Yeah. So that's what we think,
Yeah, we do that now on Steam. It's like, oh, it's only $5. Let's go ahead and do it. So yeah, it makes a good premise to pass on the fun to your next friend that you visit, and so forth.
Yeah. Totally.
Tommy, this actually gives me an idea. Dr. Blue in the chat says, if physical would be like collectible figures, I'm down. So that has me thinking, is there any possibility in the future, depending on what the projection of the unit sold is and etc., of course, but any potential for like a special, let's say, limited edition Amico figurine for a game with the RFID tag on it?
Hell yes. Earthworm Jim.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, think about it. Think about the endless possibilities. But again, don't think figures. I mean, you know, we got the Mattel Hot Wheels license. Think of that for a sec. And what if you could have like a special car and you tap it on the machine and that car shows up in your game? You know, I mean, and that, you know, that's kind of like a, you know, what Amiibo and does, but again, it doesn't have to be an action figure. Maybe it's a comic book, maybe it's a t-shirt, who knows? It really could be anything. But our physical media as well, that we're going to be selling initially on the store shelves, is very unique. It's our own thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm really excited now.
We'll probably be showing it and announcing it towards the end of the year. So again, make sure I give two things to folks. Please sign up to our mailing list at intellivisionamico.com. Please, that's if you want to help us out, sign up to our mailing list and then subscribe on our YouTube channel. On our YouTube channel, just look for Intellivision. It's the blue running man icon. You'll see it.
And download the Amico Club on your phone.
Amico Club app. Yeah, play some Moon Patrol right now. It's super fun. Again, it kind of sucks on a phone because of the controllers. And that's the reason we put it on there. That's the point. It's like, imagine playing that game on your TV with a real controller, and you can play co-op or against each other in versus. It's so cool.
Yeah, I've downloaded it since the first time you mentioned it on one of the interviews with Next Level Gaming. So I've been playing it off and on, and I got to tell you, I love it.
I love the Next Level Gaming guys, Mike and that crew over there. Such great people, such positive folks. It's so nice to see, you know, and you guys are the same, you know, just let's be positive about gaming. In order to really be a true gamer, you should like everything and not want anything to fail. Like, you should want as much stuff to succeed as possible. You know, these folks that like draw the line in the sand and say, I hate you and this is a scam. And it's like, you know, I mean, clearly there's some personality disorders, obviously, but you know, it's just that kind of mentality. It's just so immature and so tribal, you know. It's actually pretty disgusting, especially when they can be anonymous and they don't have to, you know, any person who's look, you want to say something bad about me or Amico, at least have the nuts, the balls to say it to my face as another person, like who you really are, right? Anyone else, your opinion doesn't matter. You don't get a seat at the table and you're a coward. So there you go.
See, yeah. And the way we look at it is not every game is for everybody, you know, and if it's a game that I don't like, you know what? Crispy might like it, or
exactly.
Carlos
it's like music. It's like religion. It's like politics. Give it a break, you know. It's great.
Yeah, and we're happy for everybody to actually like a game, because it helps the developers, because they didn't make it for us. They made it for the other people, and we're happy that they have a game that they can play and they could talk about just as well as we have our games we could play and talk about.
Exactly. And some of these, you know, jackasses, you know, a few who shall remain nameless, two folks in particular, whose only mission is to destroy our company, you know, and the hundreds of people, the developers that we employ all over the world. You want to take foods off of their plates, and you want to, you know, the 50 families, 60 families who work for Intellivision directly. I mean, it's thousands of people and our only mission is to bring out something new and fun and unique and beautiful to the world, which mission is to bring people together, whether you're a gamer or not, to bring them together to celebrate video games, no matter what your skill level. And if that's what you want to destroy, shame on you.
Yeah, we don't acknowledge them. We grow our community as a family. We're all family members.
Right?
Yeah, because I think to be a true gamer, you have to appreciate everything. Because if you can't appreciate something, then you can't appreciate the fact that gaming has evolved. And it's only gotten better with evolution. And every person that took a risk help that evolution to the next step of gaming.
Right. That's right. And
So
how narcissistic is it though, and egotistical for people to say, I don't like it. And again, that's fine. That okay, great, but to say I don't like it and neither should anyone else. Excuse me? Like, wow, what kind of ego and narcissism is going on there, right? It's unbelievable.
Crispy, did you have any questions? Because I know you didn't get a chance to talk much, and I feel kind of bad.
I just love the life lessons Tommy's giving us right now. It's pretty awesome.
We got into politics, we got into religion. What else? What else where are we not supposed to talk
lessons, But yeah, I mean, so what would you say is the advantage of using a controller compared to the phone?
That's a great question. So, and I'm glad you asked because, so the tactileness of it, right? I mean, let's take a game like Pac-Man, right? Pac-Man is the probably the easiest game, up, down, left, right. That's all you need, right? Now, try playing Pac-Man on your mobile device. It's an absolute friggin' nightmare. Your fingers right where you're supposed to be looking, and the response is really crap and this and that. But so what we've done is that we've taken all the best parts of this, the colored touchscreen, the accelerometer, the gyroscope, the speaker, and the microphone, but we combined it with parts of, the best parts of but the most simplest parts of a tactile controller as well. So, being able to push something down, being able to, easily push something, because that's the thing, right? I mean, keep this in mind. You put a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox or a Switch controller in a non-gamer's hand. Like my mom, she bought a Wii. My mom bought a Wii for Wii Bowling, Wii Sports. I'm sure everybody here who's listening to my voice now, and you guys, you probably know somebody who was not a hardcore gamer, who didn't typically buy video game systems, but who bought a Wii, right? And that was simple and it was easy. You just go like this and you could bowl. It was easy, right? You could give my mom a Switch for free. You could give my dad an Xbox Series X for free, and they will not play it. They will not play it. They won't open it up. They won't. It's the controllers. And I know this, not like I'm just like talking out of my ass. It's because we have done years of market research, and we see not only our own market research with families and non-gamers and casual gamers and hyper casual gamers and mobile gamers and all sorts of walks of life, right? And little kids and senior citizens and grandparents. And you ask them, because remember what I said, there's 3 billion gamers who play video games every day on this, but only 200 million hardcore gamers. That's less than 7%. And you ask those 3 billion people, why don't you play? And you know what they say? The controller's too complicated. The games are too complex and hard for me to understand. They're too expensive. It seems very solitary to me. Wait, you have to buy all this extra stuff and I don't know what to buy. Wait a second. Those are the top. And for parents, the games are too violent. Yeah, I can set the parental controls, but my kids figure out a way around it, or it's complicated to even set up that stuff. I'm worried about toxic behavior on online gaming, blah, blah, blah. Every single thing that the 3 billion people don't like about console gaming, we fixed, and it's our mission. And it's the reason Amico exists, right? And so this as a controller is nice if you're like swiping or tapping a screen for a word game or whatever, but it sucks for an action game, right? And so that's the thing, is we've taken the best of both worlds. And if you ask, what's the advantage over a PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch controller? It is the screen for information. I can have information that you can't. Or You get some information, I get a little bit of information as well, and we have to talk about the information we have and communicate and figure it out together, right? These are some really cool things. So not only is it cool as a controller, the touch screen, but also just for information as well. Good question.
I got a question from Graphic God, who's also a fan of NLG and Stinger as well. He asks, are there any plans for any micro games to play on the controller screen like the Dreamcast VMU?
I get that question so much. And it's funny because another question I get is there anything you had to cut out of Amico that you wanted to put in that didn't make it into the final system? And so this is the answer to both those questions. Like I said, our Snapdragon processor is in the console. It's in the base of the console. It's the heart of the machine, right? But we also have to have CPUs in our controllers as well, right? And so in order to keep everything at a reasonable price, because that's important to us, we had to use smaller processors that, like this screen will get like 20 frames a second, which is cool. So, if you're like rolling dice around or things like that, it's fine. But it really can't handle a full game on the screen. If you ask me what I want to see in the next version of Amico, it'll be that, because chip prices will be down and you'll be now. That being said, so when you buy an Amico, you're buying 3 CPUs, 3 separate CPUs. Incredible. And one of them being a Snapdragon, Qualcomm. But that all being said, let's just say that I may or may not have some Easter eggs in this. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh wow,
I'm
that
expecting
sounds
that.
really cool.
I'm
So when you
expecting
do take it to your buddy's house and you're in the car, not driving, I hope, that there'll be something for you to do.
Okay, because I was going to follow up with, would there be something on the phone, on your cell phone, with the Amico Club, like you have?
There already is, right? So
Right.
yeah, you can download Amiko Club right now, and you can see and you can play games. Yeah, and those are free, for free, just to give you a little taste of the challenge and the fun that you'll be having.
Something I really wanted to ask you as a big retro gamer myself. There's a lot of stuff that I appreciate in retro gaming, from the arcade days, all the way to Nintendo, Super Nintendo. Is one, I appreciate like a lot of chiptune music. I love chiptune music, but I appreciate a lot of like the arcade machines. Like you said, Moon Patrol is one of those games, right? So
Yeah.
are we gonna see a lot of retro games like Moon Patrol on the Amico? For example, one that comes to mind that I used to play a lot was Missile Defense.
Missile Command?
Yep.
Missile Command. Yeah. So Missile Command is on Amico. It'll be there on launch. It's an big Atari product. But now check this out. So you remember Missile Command when you were growing up? It had the ball, right? It had the roller ball, right? And you had your little reticle on screen, and wherever you rolled the ball, it went around, and it was a single player game, and it was fun. So I want you to check out our Missile. I made a Missile Command video, a special video, and it was from almost a year ago. So it's the old graphics, but in our latest trailer that we released on 10/10, we released a trailer that has 30 games on it, and you'll see the updated Missile Command in there with the newer graphics, and it's super smooth. But from a player's perspective, check this out. Missile Command, you've never been able to do, and Centipede's another one, because that had the roller ball. You're never really able to do those on modern consoles. Why? Or any home console. Why? Because, well, I'll say that with the exception being ColecoVision, because they actually had a roller ball for Coleco. But on modern consoles, all those games suck, because you can't move that reticle around the right way with like a D-pad, right? It just sucks. And the analog stick sucks too, because remember, analog sticks are always trying to pull back to the center. They're always trying to spring back to the center. So trying to like set your bombs and missile command with an analog stick is absolute crap. But wait, we have this. So imagine in missile command, and I explain this and show this working in the video. Wherever your thumb goes on this, because this replicates, it could replicate the TV screen. Wherever this goes, the reticle is traveling on the screen. It's actually better than a roller ball. And this directional pad now just became the biggest video game button in the history of the video game industry. And it's a directional button, meaning, remember in Missile Command, you could fire from the left, the center, or the right. You had 3 buttons in Missile Command. Well, now you only have 1. And if you want to fire from the right or the left, boom, you hit it on the left. You want to fire from the middle, boom, you hit it in the middle. You want to fire it from the right, boom, you hit it on the right. And if you just don't even want to have to think about it, and you just want to fire whatever the closest one is, then just hit down, put down. So imagine playing Missile Command now, where your thumb's moving all over the place, and now you're clicking this as the button. So that's pretty cool. But wait, there's more. I'm the ShamWow guy now. But wait, there's more. If you order now, no. How about this? Are you ready? 8-player co-op. Imagine where everybody's controller lights up a different color. And so if I'm red, then I'm the red reticle on screen. If you're blue, you're the blue reticle. If Dreadpool is green, he's green. And so we all see who's who, but you're playing with each other and so you'll see that in our demos, you'll see like 4 or 5 players going at once, and that's our co-op mode. But we also have a versus mode as well, up to 4 players, where now not only are you collecting missiles and defending, but you're defending the missiles that everybody else who's against you, who's playing, are firing at you. So imagine the fun that this has. And this is typical Amico thought process here, right? Is that we took a fun, simple, easy to play game. We updated the graphics. We updated the audio. The audio sounds awesome. I know a thing or two. But we update the audio. We updated the graphics. We added multiplayer, and in this case, co-op and a versus mode. Boom. It's freaking cool as hell. I can't wait for you to play it.
I've seen the
that is
video
awesome.
and I can vouch for what he's saying. It is amazing. It's just the way that you guys presented it. Because I was trying to myself, the first time you talked about it, envision how do you do 8-player, and then to see everybody wrapped around the screen and seeing how you've segregated everybody in their own little zones and fighting together. It was really cool how it all came about versus,
it's really neat.
Said single player, 1 person at the bottom and that's it. Incorporating everybody, all 8 players to play together and work as a team is really cool.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Tommy, one of the other guys on the panel, Flemish, he's from Belgium. So
Okay.
I know you mentioned Media Market, and I think that is a distributor in Belgium.
Huge. Yep.
Will the Amico be distributed in Belgium?
That is a question for my VP of sales. I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head. Well, let me ask you this. Hold on. Let me check on a map. Hold on 1 sec. Yes, I believe it is. I'm not 100%. I'm like 80% sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I don't know why it wouldn't be.
So
Yeah.
is the Amico going to be for those areas? Is it going to be universally on the same day, or are you doing it in phase?
That's what we're trying. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's the, I can tell you it's definitely going to be US, Canada, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, the UK. Like I know those are where the majority of the orders are right now. And I'm sure it'll be in the other ones as well too. Yeah.
Okay. Crispy, any questions?
Yeah, I got one more. You may or may not have touched on it. Of course, I was a half hour late, my fault. But yeah, do you have any plans, or is there like an achievement style system, anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. Not only do we have achievements, Crispy Bomb, but we also have leaderboards, online leaderboards as well. And let me explain how cool these things are. So one of the things that bothers me about leaderboards is, and the reason I bring up leaderboards is because the achievement and the leaderboards kind of tie into each other. One of the things that bugs me about leaderboards is like you play like your best game, right? You're like, man, I just got like my highest score ever. And then it's like, you are 35,486. Like, it's like that. It's depressing. Leaderboards are freaking depressing. Right. And so, but what we did is I created something called the time and space leaderboards. What that means is you can have, you'll be able to shuffle the leaderboards, or sort is probably the better word. You can sort the leaderboards by state, country, and world. And that's the space element of it. And the time element is, like this week, this month, this year, of all time. So all those different combinations. So I might say, let me see, wow, I got a really big score in Astro Smash. Let me see where my score is in the world of all time. Oh crap, I'm 35,486. Let's see where I am in the United States this week. Oh, wow, I'm 15th. Where am I in my state this week? Holy crap, I'm number 2. So these are really cool. Now, think of this though. What if, and again, this is back to the old days. What if you were to earn the high score in Astro Smash in the state of Florida for the week of, the week of October, or whatever the hell we're in, October 23rd, or the week started on the 21st, right? Or the 19th. For the week of October 19th in the state of Florida, Crispy Bomb has the #1 score in Astro Smash. How's this for cool? Because the thing that sucks about achievements is everybody has the same achievements, right? You killed 1,000 people in God of War. Yeah, me and a million other people. So what? It's like, bang, here's your token. It means nothing, really. But what if your achievement, you were the only person in the world that had that achievement? So at the end of the week, it emails you a certificate that you can print out that says Crispy Bomb, Astro Smash champion for the week of October 18th in the state of Florida.
That is cool. That is awesome.
That's your achievement. That's your achievement that stays with you forever. That is something to brag about. Not like, oh, I killed 1,000 people in God of War like everybody else did. And you can do it for the month and the week and the year. And you can do it for your state, your country. Imagine all of the things. Now leaderboards are fun. Now they're freaking fun. Now you're paying attention, and they go into achievements. But to answer even a little more deeply to your achievement question, also within games, yes, we have achievements that you can unlock other, like I think of our battle tanks game as an example. You're able to unlock different weapons, you're able to unlock different skins, different types of tanks, different environments, different, all these different things. So and you never have to pay for any of our unlockables, any like this crap, like these loot boxes and all this DLC garbage. We're not charging people for that. It ties into our achievement system as well.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yet another unique idea, right? Again, we can't beat them with dollars and cents and marketing budgets and infrastructure and technology, but we can beat them and compete with them in ideas. That's just yet another one.
Dreadpool, any more questions? You still there, Dreadpool, or is your mic muted?
I'm sorry. I'm muted.
No, he's speechless.
Yes, I am. Tommy always talks so much, and he fills us with so much information that it's always great to see finally that there was something for the first time that we actually got information here. So I appreciate that. I just don't have any more questions. Now
I'm going to have to repeat it all 2.5 hours of it for Daily Gaming Bites, who just showed up.
No.
He wrote his wrong
He's
name.
going to have to rewatch the stream.
Yes. He rode his bike on his way home from work listening. He's part of the panel as well. So,
there you go.
But there is a question in the chat from Screw Watermarks again. He said, I remember on Atari Age that someone asked about seeing Crossnick on the Amico, and I think Tommy said he would look into it. I just want to know, has anything come from that?
Yeah, I think we're talking to those folks. Yeah, we're that'd be cool. I like that one. That's cool. Yeah, thank you. Yep.
Flamish, did you have any questions? By the way, Tommy, that his nickname is Flamish because I can't pronounce his Belgium name of Gregory Goiverts. I can't pronounce it.
Okay, there you go. Was he the guy who asked about Belgium?
Yes.
I'm the guy.
Okay. You know what people don't know? Can I just say, because I've been to Belgium with my Video Games Live tour. I've toured all over the world. And was it Antwerp? Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah, Antwerp. Yeah.
Antwerp, yeah. What people don't realize, and I'm going to call out, I'm going to give props to the Belgian people right now, because the French people think that either Americans or the French are responsible for French fries and the best French fries. People, right? See how excited that man just got? Gregory just got excited. Can I tell the folks of the world, anyone listening to my voice right now, the Belgians, they didn't just bring us the waffles, my friends. No, the Belgian chips, French fries, you will never get, and this is coming from an Italian, and I know my food, you will never get a better French fry than in Belgium. Gregory, am I lying?
No, and I actually, I already told Clownz that one time, and he was like, yeah, and then...
Well, Belgium, what do Belgian people know about French fries? The French stole that crap from you guys. Yeah. It's wrong. People should know it. The Belgians are the ones.
He also says the Belgians have the best candy.
No, the best chocolate in the world.
The best chocolate. See, the Swiss... Now, see, here you go again. Belgian chocolate. And Gregory, I'm going to agree with you again. Belgian chocolates, and it's a certain style of chocolate. Let's it's a certain, it's definitely a, but Belgian chocolate is chocolate, waffles, gosh, I mean, and French fries, and I call them Belgian fries. He goes, it's not fair to call them French fries. Yeah. And by the way, the French don't even want them. They're just like, ew, don't, well, French fries. It's that's greasy. They're very food purists, and the last thing on a French person's plate is going to be a French fry. Trust me. And again, I love French food too, but but yeah, the Belgian chocolate. That's the Well, see, and this is why I say it. There's a little thing I want to say here. Chocolate bars, like bars of chocolate, I think are actually. I prefer Swiss chocolate for bars, and even in the UK, like Cadbury's and stuff. But it's the truffle. The truffle is what no one in the world can do. A truffle, a Belgian truffle, the things that have stuff in them. No one does it better than the Belgians, and people don't even realize that. Yeah.
I think I'll show that this week on my stream so they know what it is about. So I'll give them a little bit of a lecture of it. No, I actually, first of all, I didn't know what Amico was. I watched like one video of it. I'm like, this sounds weird. Like,
it's weird. Yeah, fair enough.
It's something I don't know because I'm of a younger generation. I'm only 29 at the moment. And I was running home to actually talk to you about this because you actually sold me on it. I'm gonna buy the thing because it's indeed something that's very reminiscent of the earlier days. And I experienced these earlier days because how gaming is evolving at this moment is in getting into worse place. We're always seeing it going downhill every year after year. It's getting worse and worse. And I have a girlfriend whom always 1 year with together, and she likes games, but she's a gamer like in the very hyper casual, like you
hyper casual, like my wife. Same.
Yeah. And I want to get her into better games, like the story-based games and the games I play, but she doesn't want to go there. She doesn't like them. And I'm like, this is the device. I can actually play with her, have fun. And this is what it's about. And you actually sold me on it while talking with the other guys. I was listening the whole time while working, driving my bus. So
yeah, and that was the goal, Gregory. That was my goal. That's why I created Amico with the super talented team around me. One person can't create a machine, but the idea and the concept about it, that was my initial goal. I wanted, because there was no games I could play with my wife. I can't play video games with my dad anymore or my mom. And I would cherish those moments, right? Those are some of my best childhood memories, was playing games with my family and friends. And I just look around and it's so segmented now. And you're absolutely right. And I don't know, I'm going to say something that might be a little controversial right now. And everyone's like, oh, here it comes. No, but and maybe some people will agree and others may not. And if you don't agree with me, I totally understand and respect that. But this is just my own thoughts. And I'm curious to know if people in the chat and you guys as well feel the same way, or maybe I'm just crazy. I felt like this new generation that's happening right now, the PlayStation 5 and the Series S and the Series X, I find myself not as excited about the new consoles coming out as I have been about new consoles coming out in previous generations. For some reason, I'm just not, and maybe it's because I look at the games and I'm like, yeah, those look a little bit better. Like, I mean, they look awesome, but like a little bit, like I'm still playing my PlayStation 4 and enjoying it. And for the first time in like 30 years, I haven't pre-ordered a PlayStation 5 or a Series X. And again, it's not because I'm not like that I don't want one. I'm sure I'll eventually get one. But I'm just like, I don't know. I'm a little like meh on the new consoles. I'm usually not like that. So my question to everybody in the chat and everybody, and to you, Gregory and CD and Dead Dreadpool and Crispy Bomb, is that just me, or do you guys feel like a little less? Because Gregory, you mentioned it. You're kind of like, yeah, it seems like every year it's going down and down. To me, it's gotten down to where it's like I'm not even I'm not going to be standing in line at midnight, day one, waiting for the next thing. I'll wait till next year. I don't know. Maybe it's me. What do you guys think?
I think it's a combination. It's a little bit of both. Me myself as a admitted tech junkie, with the new tech that's coming out, I am excited for that part of it. But like you said, some of the games, like the innovation, is not there as much as we want it to be. I'm looking like Assassin's Creed, and I want them to have 16-player Viking raids, but yet it's still a single player game. You have stuff like this where you have 8 players all on one screen, where we can elbow each other trying to get the advantage, and then you've already built in some of the advantages in the game. So even though you're theoretically in last place, you can get that bonus that'll push you right back up and be competitive and actually possibly win. So it gives you that the opportunity to do that. We're getting to the point where we're starting to see diminishing returns when it comes to graphics.
Yeah,
So
once it's photorealistic. You know what was interesting to me is that when I saw the Unreal 5 engine demo, that blew me away. That was like, holy crap. And I think they made a mistake, because they released that first before showing any PlayStation 5 games, right? And so in my mind, that's what I now expect. If all of the games were like that, I'd be like, wow, like off my chair. But and you know what? Those games will eventually come, right? It's like every generation. The first generation coming out, then a year later they all start to look better. By year 3, year 4, the developers really know how to unlock the power, and they're doing like mind-blowing stuff. So I get it. That's how the cycle goes. But for the first generation stuff now, it's just, I don't know, there's nothing that I'm like, I have to play that. I have so many, and there's so much content these days too, right? I mean, again, I don't know if people in the chat, if you are, let me know, or folks here, like I have so many games in shrink wrap that I haven't even gotten to yet. It's like, it's like there's so much content, and it's all starting to like be the same to me. I don't know. What do you think, Gregory? I mean, you brought it up initially to me.
Yeah, so first of all, I'm excited for new consoles because the power difference, right? It's still more powerful. You're gonna have your 60
teraflops.
Yeah. It's not really about the teraflops for me personally. It's all about just 60 frames. I want 60 frames games. They make it smoother. There's not so much stuttering. Makes the screen like better overall. The colors, like the HDR stuff, that's also implemented. That's also good. And then the ray tracing, that's new, of course. That's coming in with the Unreal Engine 5 like next year and stuff. It's going to be released like all those new games. But overall, I think it's less exciting because indeed, like Red Bull say, it's like it's not really a new generation. It's more like a leap in graphics and power. It's not really like an entirely new generation. It's not like when you got back into time and you got the 2D to 3D graphics. That's something new. But what we now have, we have the photorealistic games like PlayStation 4. Those games look amazing already. Like, like Ratchet and Clank. There's even more. Like cannot rename them on top of my head at the moment. But they already look amazing, and we're getting to this point indeed that it's just like there's just the ceiling. We're at the ceiling a little bit. And throwing more power at it, it's not going to solve the problem of getting it better.
You know what I think it is for me too? It's like the innovation I feel is like hit a wall, because like those controllers are all the same, really little upgrades, but they're the same controllers for the last 25 years. Nintendo, on the other hand, you got to tip your hat to them, because they're always trying to innovate, from the Wii to the Wii U to the the freaking the Switch, and it's all innovation, and they roll the dice and they mostly pull it off. I mean, they didn't with the Wii U, but that's okay. But Babe Ruth didn't hit a home run every time he came up to plate. But I think that's the thing with the Xbox and PlayStation, is that the controllers like I look at it, it's like, okay, here's another first person shooter. Here's another platform game. Here's where I feel like all the innovation in game design is happening actually with the indie developers on mobile or on, Steam. But even Steam, you're limited to what the controller is, like what limited to keyboard, mouse, or to hooking up an Xbox controller to your PC. And so that's the really kind of interesting thing I think about Amico, is that we're coming at this from a whole new angle, like Nintendo typically does, which is, here's something completely different and innovative. And so I think that's part of why I'm a little, lukewarm on the next gen, because it's like it's the same controller and the same style of games so far. I don't know.
One thing I wanted to say is that Tommy, you probably definitely did not hear the story unless Stinger told you, but I'm gonna tell you this. At least I know if I pre-order the Amico through GameStop, I won't have a
Mhm.
little baby stealing my spot, because I tried to pre-order the Xbox Series X, and apparently a 6-month-old baby in a little goo goo gaga, whatever you call it, car seat, apparently can hold a spot for an adult. So that was the last Series X that was sold to the baby.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The parent just
didn't
left the
know that.
baby in line. Yeah. So at least with the Amico,
Oh,
I can go on there
brutal.
and pre-order it, and I will get it. And
You're gonna get it.
Yep, I'm gonna get it. I posted the link in the chat as well for everybody else, but I like that. I like that purple edition, the Galaxy Purple
pretty
Limited
cool.
Edition. It looks
Yeah,
really,
it's
really cool.
I mean, it's really unique. A shout out to JB Feelings, by the way, in the chat, because he's been or her, I'm not sure, but they've been agreeing with me about the next gen stuff, and I've been reading everybody's comments. Been trying to. So yeah, him, cool. So yeah, JB Feelings, appreciate the chat and all the stuff that you've been saying. Really cool.
Tommy, I feel bad because we kept you on for 2.5 hours already, and I'm not sure.
I know, I got to get going. I got a meeting coming up here. I got to jump, but
that's what I figured.
No, it was absolutely fantastic meeting you all. Even Gregory, I'm glad we had a chance to connect too at the end here. Crispy Bomb, thank you for the great, well thought out questions. And Dreadpool, and CD. I mean, thanks for having you guys reach out and arranging this, and I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to your folks and your subscribers and your followers, and thank you so much. And like I said, tell everybody, please go to IntellivisionAmico.com. Do it right now. IntellivisionAmico.com. Sign up to our mailing list and go to our YouTube channel right now. And subscribe. That really does help us out. It helps us out because we got to, again, we're the underdog. We got to get our numbers up, and we don't have $20 million of marketing this week to advertise during the Super Bowl or whatever, So help us out by just spreading the word, and the Amiko Club app as well, if you want to have some fun with our Moon Patrol demo. And if you want to see me pwn haters on Twitter, then it's just at Tommy Tallarico is my here. I'll put it in the I'll put it in the chat. I'm on Facebook as well too a lot, but
I'll actually do it for you. So
there you go, at Tommy Tallarico. It's just all one word. And yeah, I like to mix it up with folks who are nasty to me. So
I don't know why. It seems illogical. I mean, you're on your own island. You're doing something.
I know,
different,
right?
And it's illogical. I mean, we saw the success of the Wii back in the day. I call it back in the day. It was like what?
Yeah. It's 15 years ago. The Wii was 15 years ago. It doesn't seem
it's
that
just
long.
crazy, but you're doing your own thing, and I could see you're going for a hyper cash.
Yeah, exactly. We're not trying to trying to convince people to buy this instead of a PlayStation 5. It's like, gamers are gonna. But I think this might be gamers' second or third machine that they bring out when when their non-gaming friends come over. But for families and non-gamers, like the Wii was, this will be their main gaming system. And that's what we're doing. We're reaching out to, religious organizations, Christian communities, the Mormon community, the Muslim community. We're reaching out to Latinos and African Americans. We're reaching out to seniors, senior citizens and grandparents. We're reaching out to, middle America moms with young kids. These are the folks that feel like gaming isn't for them, like, because gaming ignores them for the most part, right? And they feel, and again, this isn't my opinion, it's just the data, they don't feel like video games are targeted to them, except for a couple of dopey games on their mobile, which try to suck as much money out of them as possible and give them ads up the ass, right? And so that's what we're doing. We want to appeal to those people. We want to say, hey, you know what? You're important too. And 3 billion of you are playing this. So we know you're there. But we're going to pay attention to you and create stuff for you that you can play with everybody else too. So, again, it's the inclusiveness that we're really trying to drive home. And that's why our motto is Intellivision, together again. It's a crappy motto during COVID, let me tell you, but that's okay. We're sticking with it. We're going to stick through this thing. We're all going to get through it together, but together again. We just think it's a really great message for gaming, the gaming community and the world in general.
Is the Asian market going to see the Amico? I'm being asked
not
several
initially.
times.
Not initially. We eventually want to get it over there. Obviously, Japan is a very important video game market. They're actually fourth. So a lot of people don't know this, but the number one place for consoles and video games is United States is one, China's number two, Germany is number three. And Germany and Japan kind of go back and forth depending on the year or whatever. And even China and the US go back and forth for 1 and 2. And the UK is after that. And then you get into like Australia and stuff. But yeah, so, and Germany is a very important a place for us. So eventually we got to get to Japan, but you have to do it right. I mean, just ask Microsoft. How's that working out for them? Like they've been trying to get into the Japanese market for 20 years and they have all the money in the world and they can't do it. Right. And I know why, and they know why. And we're going to take a different approach than what they took, and I mean, I can get into it a little bit because it's very interesting. And this comes from the people who launched the Xbox in Japan. So it's not my opinion. It's, it's their theory and opinion and why they're there. When they launched the Xbox in Japan, they tried to take something that was American built, Halo, first person shooters. Those aren't popular in Japan, right? But they tried to take something that was American and built in an American name. Sorry, let me turn that off. And they tried to make it Japanese. So it's like, hey, here's a Halo game, but we're going to like change it around and we're going to use Japanese fonts and we're going to call it something different and we're going to use different colors. And they really kind of tried to, Easternize, I guess I'm trying to think of a term. They tried to make it something that it wasn't intended to be initially, right? To cater to a different culture. And that was something that was really that the folks who launched it there, and I know them, said that was our biggest mistake, is that we tried to portray it as something that was Japanese when in fact, American culture in Japan, Japanese people think America stuff is cool. Rock and roll and American fonts. Like you go to Japan and you'll see like English writing on kids' t-shirts and stuff like that. And likewise, for people living in North America and Europe, we think Japanese stuff is really cool, right? So it's like, whatever side of the pond you're on, it's always like the other side is so cool because you're not used to it and you're not privy to it all the time, and you're not, and so that's one of the things that we would learn from that and say, you know what, when it's our right time to go in Japan and we don't want to screw it up, we're going to go in there loud and proud. Here we are. We're from the United States. We're Americans, and we do things differently. And here it is, and love it or hate it, but this is our proposition. And we feel in the tests that we've done so far, it's a hell of a proposition. Like, people over there are really liking it because it's so different, but mostly because it reminds them of the way Nintendo used to be and Sega used to be and the stuff that they loved about those. And, so yeah, the simple, they don't mind if the graphics are more simple. They don't like photorealistic, I don't want to say that's a general statement. I don't mean to say it like that, but they prefer cartoon graphics over super photorealistic, right? You look at a game like Katamari Damacy, which is like this wacky, fun adventure. And yeah, they have games like Metal Gear Solid, which are popular, and games like Silent Hill, they're made over there, but they're not as popular as they are over here. First-person shooters aren't as popular as they are over here. So, so yeah. And so we think that even our library is more apt and adaptable to things that are popular over there already. So yeah, we'll get there eventually, but that's kind of call it a backroom baseball, if you will, a little bit of how the sausage is made in the video game industry in regards to Japan and different cultures. And by the way, China is completely different from them, and India is different from all of them. And we're launching in the Middle East as well, right? That's why we have an office in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates. And so there's certain things there. So yeah, we want this to be global, but we do want to take, baby steps to get there. If the thing comes out in April, we don't have to sell 10 million units in order to survive. We got 10 years, 7 to 10 years to sell this, we're not going anywhere. And so, we sell a couple 100,000 units out of the gate. That's enough to keep sustaining us, and we'll keep growing and growing and growing and growing. So we're good. I like where we're at.
I will tell you this, and this is my, no, I'm not muted. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll tell you this. So what I feel like how the console is presented, and when you are the spokesperson, because you're a really good explainer how everything works and why you do it and stuff, like, I feel this is going to be more popular than even Nintendo and the Switch. Like,
wow.
my personal...
Your lips to God's ears, my friend. Your lips to God's ears.
Well, let's hope so.
I'm well,
look, here's the thing. I can't say that because I would look like a total idiot and people would make fun of me. But inside my mind, why shouldn't I feel like that? Why shouldn't I reach for the stars, as my Italian grandparents would always tell me, like, the sky's the limit. Don't let anyone ever tell you you can't do something, right? And so, and you have to have, in order to achieve great things, you have to dream great things, right? And so, yeah, why shouldn't I dream? Hey, if the Wii sold 102 million units, well, this is the Wii 15 years later, but we're catering to the non-game. We're catering to those casual and non-gaming folks. and hardcore gamers as well for certain products. But yeah, why shouldn't we be able to? Why not? I'm not going to crush that dream. So thank you for saying that. That means a lot to me, because again, I have to dream that, but for somebody else to say it is kind of cool, that or to even think that, and I appreciate that. It means a lot. Yeah, thanks. Let's hope from your lips to God's ears.
Well, I know that you got to get out of here because you have a meeting, so I just want to go ahead and wrap up the show. Flemish, real quick, can you tell everybody where they can find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on this channel for interviews, reviews soon, and then our live streams, of course. And then you can find me on Retro Renegades on Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. EST, and then on Sunday on the Flemish Experience.
Thanks. Crispy, where can people find you?
Oh, absolute pleasure, Tommy. I hope all the best for you. Yeah, it's at Crispy Bomb on Twitter, Crispy Bomb 28, Xbox Live, Retro Renegade, 7 p.m. Tuesday nights, Breakfast with Boom Friday, 10 a.m. And you can find me whenever we're doing interviews. I will try to be here every time.
Great.
Nice. Dreadpool?
Thank you, Tommy. As I've always said, you can tell the passion that you have about this. And this is why, we believe in you, because you actually believe in yourself and what you are promoting, and that's day one. As soon as you you talked about this and I heard it, I went ahead and pre-ordered as soon as I was able to pre-order.
Thank you. Thank you for
so I appreciate your time with us. You can always find me on Twitter at Dreadpool. The O's are zeros, YouTube, Gamertag, and Stadia. It's all Dreadpool, all letters, all caps. Every week, you can find me on Gaming Beyond the Box, Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Breakfast with Boom, right along with Crispy Bomb, Friday mornings at 10 a.m. Obviously, Four Guys Recorders, whenever we're doing interviews, I will also try to be here to assist. And then the most important one, Tommy, anytime you come down to Central Florida, I do Breaking Bread with Dread, and I find personalities, and we go to a local place, and we sit down and we talk, and I have a microphone in between us. So I love it. It's in stereo. It's organic because you literally hear children crying, chairs moving. This last one,
here's the thing. I would have one request. You gotta find the best Italian place in town.
Oh, I've got a couple places.
Great.
There's a few places. There's a place called Maggiano's.
Oh, well, Maggiano's I go to all the time. It's right there in the mall. Whenever I go to Tampa, I go to Maggiano's. It's amazing, beautiful. The wood when you walk in, the beautiful bar, and we usually get like one of the back rooms on the side. The place is huge. Maggiano's, you kidding me? I'm a regular there. So absolutely, we'll do it.
We'll do that there. Yeah. So like I said, it's all in stereo too. So that's the funny part. One person will be on one side, one person will be on the other side. This is totally the opposite of podcasting, podcasting 101, quiet room, no interruptions. We'll actually have the wait staff interrupt us, asking us for refills or stuff like that. Like I said, it's all organic and we talk about whatever.
Put me down.
Thank you.
Awesome. I just one last question Chris Smith had in the chat. He said, when can we see the UI video? He can't wait. That's our user interface. Yeah, I was going to show it last weekend, and I had problems with the stream and everything, and I didn't want to show it like all choppy and stuff. So I'm just working out my internet stuff. I have a brand new computer right here, which is a monster of a computer, and so I'm working out the streaming stuff and my camera thing. So I'm hoping to do that next week. I'm pretty sure it'll be next week. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for asking about that, Chris. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for everybody. I'm looking at the stream here now. It's all so great. So great. Oh, Dale Brown says, I hope you get the license for Gauntlet. Dale, we are working on that. Are you kidding me? 4-player dungeon crawler, new graphics, keep it overhead, new audio, new levels, multiplayer, co-op, and let's do a versus mode as well. Let's all battle each other
that
too
would be
through
cool.
those things, right?
You can just chill, bro.
We're all over it, Dale.
Yeah,
awesome, guys. Yeah.
Crispy Bomb, where can we find you?
He already said. He already.
So,
Yeah.
so what you mean to say is Italian Clowns, where can we find you?
Yes. Well, you can find me at Italian Clowns on almost all social media. Four Guys with Quarters. On Tuesdays we do the main podcast. Flemish and I are then doing a news podcast 3 days a week. But lately we've been doing interviews. And it was really awesome to talk to Tommy. It was really cool. I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream here so we can all get ready to leave. But thank you everybody in the chat for coming out. Hit that like button, subscribe, share, whatever you want to do. Leave comments, stay positive and keep gaming no matter where you like the game. Just have fun gaming, no matter where it is.
Awesome. Well, high five, virtual high five to you, Dale Brown.